As the leader of the Booner Path, I lead from the front.
All right, boys. Lock in.
It's our core foundation, man. Grit.
I'm fired up. I'm fired the f*** up, boys.
It's pumping right now. It's got my juice pumping, boys.
All right, man. Great win. We did exactly what we said we needed to do. Play complimentary freaking football, man. When we needed it most, every phase picked up the slack, man. That's how you win games against teams like that, man. And now you know what the barometer is like on the AFC. It's a great win. I got a couple of game balls here. You give out $1 million, but I'm going to give 2. All right, let's start on offense. 12 carries, 151 yards.
It wouldn't be possible without y'all, man. Well, when we winning, bro.
So, yeah. All right, this thing says 41 total tackles. It can't be right. Okay, 2.5 sacks, 2 quarterback hits, and 2 TFLs. Mr. Muhammad.
You know what? I want to thank every player, every coach, everybody that's in this organization, because about a year ago, I was home. I was on the couch. So when you get opportunity, you make sure you take advantage of it. Yeah. I want to also thank the guys in my room for helping me out this week. You know, without them, I wouldn't have been able to do what I do.
Guys, love you guys, man. We'll give it a Cleveland. Break it out.
Hey, great win. 103, what do you think? Wow. Oh my.
How about
God.
it?
What? I mean, no one was more fired up for AQM than Brad behind him. Just hitting the pass. Like, yes. 2.5 sacks from Muhammad. Those are 2 game balls that were deserved. All right. Muhammad and Montgomery got the 2 game balls.
Yep.
All deserved. Massive win by the Lions. Crunch Time Sports Show, Jeff Iafrate and Booner on a Tuesday morning. Appreciate you guys for joining us, hanging out with us. We'll be breaking down the game today. We got tons of things to get to. The Lions took down the Baltimore Ravens on the road. One of the biggest wins under Dan Campbell. I mean, honestly, arguably the biggest win. Besides last year.
Biggest regular season win.
I get last year, the division was on the line against Minnesota, but this in terms of the matchup they had to face. Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, one of the hardest, or no, I would say the hardest matchup in all of the NFL to face, and they did their job. They dropped 40 in Baltimore on the Ravens. It was complimentary football. The defense showed up. The offense showed up. The new coordinator showed up in game 3 right here, Boone. A lot of people have this game as a loss, including, hey, we did the schedule. We're like, Baltimore, it's going to be tough. You go on the road, you face Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry. They looked at that game. This score does not tell the full story of how that game actually went. I mean, they felt like they were the better team from start to finish. They really did.
Yeah, I said it last night. I felt like they should have won by multiple possessions. There was the garbage time touchdown. There was Brian Branch not getting the interception. Like this was one of the most dominant regular season wins in the Dan Campbell era of football that we've got to see. And I don't think that's like a hot take, anything. And you could argue, like you said, playoffs, obviously they won big playoff games, so you take that out of the equation. But as a regular season win, this is as big as it gets, especially like I told you before we hopped on the show here. I said, I slept on it a little bit last night. I was like, this is a big win for this football team. Like, this is huge. And then you sleep on it and you wake up, and typically you're like, all right, expectation. People always tell me, Jeff Booner, you overreact on losses, you overreact on wins. I was like, all right, I'm not going to overreact. I'm going to wake up and see how I feel. And Jeff, I woke up, I felt, you know what I felt? It was an even bigger win than it felt last night. Like, it is unbelievable. Like, you literally, I don't think people realize, you went into Baltimore and you wiped the floor with John Harbaugh, Lamar Jackson, and Derrick Henry. Wiped the floor. Kyle Hamilton couldn't stop Sam Laporta. Like, it was a dominant win from top to bottom. Like, they won third downs. They won 4. Jeff, they went 3 for 3 on fourth down. I mean, 3 for 3 on fourth down. Dan Campbell, and I thought about this morning. I told you, I said I had something about Dan Campbell today. At what point do people start giving this guy, Dan Campbell, the credit he deserves? This guy is a top 5 coach. He might right now, yeah, you could say the Packers game might not have that team prepared. This guy just knows how to win football games. He knows how to control a locker room. This is one of the best football coaches in the NFL right now in the world. And I don't know why he doesn't get talked about enough in these conversations of like top tier. I'm talking about tier 1 coaches. Like Dan Campbell just constantly, he's turned this program around, and people talk about it. Well, the Jared Goff stuff in the playoffs, the edge room. Dan Campbell has nothing to do with the edge. He has nothing to do with building this team. This guy goes out there constantly with hurt players last year, 20 million guys on the IR last year, and went 15-2. Now this year he turns around, gets destroyed in Green Bay, destroys the Bears, and now goes on the road and beats the Ravens. He is one of the best coaches in the NFL, Jeff. I don't know how you can look at it and be like, no, he's hands down. This guy is one of the best to do it in the game right now. And he just keeps doing it. And when you think that he's done, he just pulls his team back together, and you watch the post game and you're like, how do you not love this guy? I don't know how you don't.
Yeah, primetime, and this is the thing about primetime is he's 12-2 in his career. Think about the team he got given to when he first got here. It was a complete rebuild. So the fact that you're 12-2 in primetime, they didn't obviously get primetime games when he first got here, but that's something that we can't just gloss over either. I mean, John Harbaugh, we know this is what we know about John Harbaugh in every team he ever coaches. They're physical. You know, they're always going to be at least the more physical team in most games. Last night, they got pushed around. And I know they didn't have Matabike. I get it. But regardless, on offense and defense, didn't even matter. Not just the defensive line for the Ravens, offensive line for the Ravens. Pushed around. Like that, you went into Baltimore, you were the more physical team. It reminded me, it wasn't the score, but it gave me that feeling, and it wasn't near as disgusting as it was just visually. But week 1, when the Packers pushed around the Lions and everyone was shocked by it, you're like, wow, these teams are always more physical. That's how I felt last night. Like I'm not surprised the Lions won, but the fact that they pushed the Ravens around as much as they did, that was surprising. Like that's coaching. And you're on the road, and they were ready to play. They were the more ready team against John Harbaugh, one of the greatest coaches in the NFL.
That's why we have this coach conversation all the time. Like our top, we do the rankings during the off season. We've had these conversations. A lot of people put John Harbaugh over Dan Campbell. He coached circles around him yesterday. He did. Like the 4th down play calls, going for it, the one, the long pass to Amon-Ra at the end of the game to ice the game. Like that's a Dan Campbell decision to be like, hey, John Harbaugh, either you step up or I'm going to beat you. And he went out there and he beat him. And there's just no question at this point. Like you're taking Dan Campbell over Harbaugh. Like this guy yesterday, he just keeps this team going. And it's like every single asset of the game, like the special teams, the offense, the defense, every single, you can go watch every single part of that game and be like, this team is just that much better. Like they're that much better. And this is a Ravens team too, that I'm sure if you look at the sports book right now, they're probably favored higher than the Lions to win the Super Bowl. And after watching last night, you're like, how? Because if the Lions and the Ravens played in the Super Bowl, guess who I'm taking? I'm taking that Lions team, and it's not just because they beat them; it's because they dominated them. And like you said, they out-physicaled them the whole time.
Yeah, that was. I mean, and they did it with guys stepping up and looking amazing. I mean, their front 7 on defense, which we'll get to. We're going to talk about AQM at some point today. Don't you worry. We're going to talk about the defense because I have some quotes from Dan talking about the defense as well. But I did want to bring up too a couple of Dan Campbell quotes in a second here, talking about what winning teams do, because whatever happened last night, that's what winning teams do. All right, they go on the road, and I know Dan Campbell always has his guys ready to play. That's another thing you can say about Dan Campbell. What makes him such a special coach is you look in the NFL, and the hot thing, and usually teams it's a copycat league. So when Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, Andy Reid, are having success, every team wants a young, innovative offensive coordinator, offensive guru. But if you're not getting that type of coach, the next type of coach is your Jim Harbaughs, your John Harbaughs, your Dan Campbells, your Mike Vrabels, which these guys are more CEO culture guys. And here's the thing that people got to learn. When Dan Campbell first got to Detroit, all the national media that crapped all over this man in his opening press conference and just did not take him seriously. How do you feel now about the guy? All right. How do you feel now? By the way, a lot brighter than he comes off. A lot brighter than he comes off, because these guys are always ready to play. They're always prepared. And here's the thing you have to take.
He's a player's coach. That's what you want, right? You want a player's coach, but he knows football.
He knows football. He knows. I mean, and here's the thing: you can't take away, because the thing with AG and Ben, it's the coordinators. He they were the more prepared team than the Ravens with new coordinators, a rookie coordinator in Kelvin Shepard, and I mean, a more inexperienced coordinator. John Morton has only been at twice. They were the more prepared team. You can't take anything away from Dan Campbell now. You can't say it's the coordinators. You can't take away credit. He had those guys ready to go. Absolutely ready to go. So
taking a step further, which is the people that were going at Dan Campbell when he gets hired. The national media, Jeff, one preseason, all offseason long, we had to hear the national media. And I'm going to throw the media in there. Lukas Klotz, people that we know. I'm not saying you did it, but you obviously question at points through coordinators.
Yep,
Peter Schrager being like, this team's not going to make the playoffs. Dan Orlovsky switching up and being like, this team's not a playoff team. Like everyone doing it, national media doing it. And then after the Chicago Bears game, more people even doing it. Kyle Brandt not even having the Lions in the playoffs. Like, there's national media thing of the narrative of like, hey, the Lions, they were really good, but they lost their two best coordinators. They're both head coaches in the NFL now. What have I said all offseason long, Jeff? When you have the personnel that you have and you go through every single position group on this football team, safety, best safeties in the NFL, linebackers, best linebacking crew in the NFL, Aidan Hutchinson, one of the best edge rushers in the NFL. You go offensively, you have Pro Bowlers and all pros sprinkled all throughout the offense. When you have the personnel, you're going to still win football games. Like, bottom line. And I think a lot of people get caught up in national media and people trying to be right and trying to do this and do that to where they just completely go blindsided. Like they're running a race at, what do you know, the race blinders, the horse blinders, and they want to be right? Like you want to be the one to have that bold take. Oh, Lions are going to make the playoffs. And then after the Bears game, all these people love to take a victory lap, going on Monday morning shows on First Take, on all these, I told you guys, why don't you wait a second? Hold on. Take a step back and wait a second. And I had the conversation on our show after the Packers game and said, hey, take a deep breath. Let's see this offense when this O-line gets better. Let's see this offense when the run game's going. Let's let this defense settle in a little bit. And then what did they do versus the Bears? They dominated. What did they do now versus the Ravens? They go on the road, dominated. These people look dumb now. It's just at point blank. Like the national media, that was the biggest swing and a miss all the time because now they're 2-1. And they have a tough schedule, but you play the Browns now. Let's say 3-1. You play the Bengals with no Joe Burrow, potentially 4-1. This team has an opportunity to be 4-1, going into one of the toughest stretches of football that any team in the NFL has. Whereas the Chiefs, the Bucks, the Eagles, I can keep going here. The Vikings, the Commanders, one of the toughest stretches of football that a team's going to have, and they have a chance to now be 4-1 because they just beat the Baltimore Ravens in that. So a lot of the national media had to take a step back on this Tuesday morning and be like, okay, maybe I was wrong. And I'll tell you what, don't hop on the bandwagon now. Stay over there. I want you to, hey, Peter Schrager, stick over there. If you won't have the Lions making the playoffs, go ahead. I don't want you on our bandwagon anymore. He used to like the Lions. Dan Orlovsky, when you jumped off after week 1, stay over there. That man after week 1 ran right back outside of the end zone again.
Yeah, the national media, it was egregious. And I'll speak for myself here. After week 1, was I concerned about the offense? Yes, I was. Did I say they weren't going to make the playoffs? No. That's ridiculous. And I saw Schrager did that. I do remember that clip because we actually
Kyle Brandt.
Yeah, people were just a little ridiculous. And I'll admit, the last 2 weeks, the offense, John Morton's done an excellent job. Excellent job. And here's the thing we have to take into consideration too here. Let's not forget, people want to bring up, at least the naysayers or the people that are pessimistic, they dropped 52 on the Bears. Well, Jeff, It's the Bears, right? They're at home. It's the Bears. You score 52. Okay, you could have scored 70 in that game probably. It's the Bears. They scored 38 against the Ravens on the road. So we got to be consistent. Where are those people at? It's remember when we talked about it last week? We're like, dude, I don't give a shit if it's the Bears or not. If they would have won by 3 against the Bears, those people still would have been complaining.
Yes.
They just dropped 40 against the Ravens. 40 on the road, not at home. It's
insane, dude.
Where are those people at today?
That is insane.
Those people, those people are ridiculous. All right.
Let's call it what it is. Okay. I know we're going to talk offense and we're going to talk Dan Campbell. I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but Jeff Iafrate, what was the big question we had going into this year with John Morton? Can he keep a top 5 offense? Can he continue to do this, right? And now it's a big question. And everyone in the world was like, well, if he has a top 10, it's going to be okay. You know what he's at right now? Have you looked? I want to make sure. Have you looked?
No.
Okay, I'm going to ask you 2 questions. We're going to do yards and points per game. Where do you think they rank right now in points? Or let's do yards first, because I know points per games. You like that one better. But what do you think they are in yards in the NFL?
I would say they got to be like top 3.
Third in the NFL, only behind the Buffalo Bills and the Indianapolis Colts, and then it's the Detroit Lions. Where would you put them in points per game in the NFL?
I mean, 52 and 38, they got to be like first.
They are second in the NFL with 34.3 points per game. They are only behind the Baltimore Ravens, who they just beat, who is averaging 37 points per game, and you held them to their lowest at 30. They scored 41 and 40, and the Detroit Lions held them to 30, so they scored the lowest. And you are second in the NFL. So right now you have a top 3 offense in the NFL after the last 2 seasons having top, or 3 seasons having top 5. John Morton just continues to he comes in and just instantly, boom. Yeah. And you can argue like these last 2 games are some of the best offensive games that we've seen over the last few years with this Lions team.
And I got to say, like, the offensive line, that was a big. That's you got to give those boys credit, man, because they don't have Frank Drag now, and they've been playing their ass off. I mean.
Do we have an offensive line segment or no?
Yeah, we're going to talk about the offense, actually, because I do want to mention some things here that are ridiculous stat-wise. But I do have more Dan Campbell. So I want to play Dan Campbell talking about what's a winning formula and what the winning formula is and why the Lions displayed that. So here's Dan Campbell on that.
Man, we stepped up and made plays. Hutch made some huge plays. Muhammad made huge plays. Jack Campbell, Reed. I mean, we can go down Goff, St, freaking Demo, that old line, Sewell. I mean, we just at different times in critical moments, our guys stepped up, and when we needed it most, every unit picked up the slack, and that's what winning teams do. That's what they do, man.
Yeah, winning teams, by the way. And this is one thing we didn't mention about Dan Campbell. He wins on the road, which is what winning teams do. Winning organizations win on the road. A lot of teams that the Fugazi teams people bring up, they win at home. They fraudulent. The Lions actually play. They play great at home, obviously. Ford Field, one of the best home field advantages in the NFL. But this team actually wins on the road, Dan Campbell. Dude, I mean, they just find a way to win on the road, which is impressive. No one really – I mean, we talk about it, but no one talks about it enough. Like, if you're talking about winning a Super Bowl, you got to be able to win on the road. And Dan's one of the best at it.
Did not lose last year on the road. Undefeated on the road last year. And I know you didn't have the best schedule in the world, but I believe the 2 losses they had, 3 with the Commanders, I believe they're all in Ford Field. So they I don't know the last – what was the last time they lost on the road? 2023?
Week 1. Yeah. I mean, against the Packers.
Oh, week 1 versus the Packers. Okay, yeah, forgot about that. Oh, no, that's a tough one. But I do want to say –
But they're 11-4 since the start of 2023.
That's insane. On the road to be 11-4, even last year to go undefeated on the road. I know you didn't have the best road schedule, but just – anytime in the NFL you win a road game, it's huge, no matter what team it is. I mean, we've seen them a couple of years ago go to the Panthers and get throttled on the road. And then, so anything can happen. I'll say this. Did you watch the full Dan Campbell press conference?
I watched all the clips. I didn't watch the whole Dan Campbell part. No, I did not.
He had a comment, and I don't know if we have it as a clip, but he had a comment where he said he went into this season. I thought this was so interesting, and this is why Dan Campbell is so great and is good at what he does. He said going into the year this year, he told the guys, and we've seen in year past how they win games. They win games typically the same over the last 2 years, offensively just dominating, defense kind of in moments, third down, red zone stops. That's kind of how they've won games the same ways. He said he went into this season and said, hey, he told the guys, I want to find every single different way to win a football game, and I want to do that throughout this regular season. Essentially.
Oh, I did see that clip.
And he said he was like, I want to figure out every single way. So when we get to the playoffs, no matter what happens, we know how to win a game in that way. And when you hear that, like when I heard that, that was when I was like, the Dan Campbell is like the real deal. Because what coaches even have that mindset? Like you just go in and be like, hey, let's just win the game. Let's figure this thing out. No, like Baltimore last night, he's like, we're going to run the ball and we're going to dominate you, and we're going to get after Lamar Jackson. And they had a game plan. Like he was like, the game plan we had for Lamar, like that's something we've never done before. And like Lamar said, like they had the quarterback spy at different spots, and they threw different things at him. In those moments, they're finding a different way that they've never beat a mobile quarterback since that's been like one of the biggest things. We've never seen them go out and beat a mobile quarterback. We've seen Josh Allen destroy us, Jaden Daniels in the playoffs. Like it's Lamar Jackson 2 years ago. It just keeps happening. And last night they found a way to win in a different way that we've never seen the Lions win before. Defensively too, like the defense stepped up in so many moments. We've never seen that from this team, and the offense was buzzing as always. So that's why I think this team's a little bit different. Like That defense plays like that down the stretch. I mean, this thing.
Yeah, I do. At 9:30, I want to ask that question to the people. Do they have Super Bowl caliber coordinators? I mean, are you confident through 3 weeks? Jason, appreciate the Crunch Time membership for 13 months. He says 13 months in a Lions dub. Let's go. Appreciate
There we go,
you,
Jason.
for the love there. And Joseph says, how was that field goal good? Brian Branch's chop block. Referees did their damnedest.
They were trying, Joseph.
Yeah,
I'm not
gonna lie. I felt like an idiot when we watched the field goal, and I said no good on our show, and then I watched the replay, and then I saw Lions players go. So
well, even Troy Aikman and Joe Buck were like, I don't think that's good. They watched the replay 10 times, and they were like, I don't know how this is good.
No, it tripped me up a little bit. The Brian Branch call was ridiculous. DJ Reed dropped an interception. It was a Derrick Henry tried throwing like a pass in the end zone. Brian Branch dropped an interception. I mean, when you really look at it, and I know you can't really do this in the NFL because these plays happen. That's what makes football so great. Like TA giving up those plays he had. If you look at some of these little spots in that game, like huge momentum plays, if Brian catches that pick, they don't score on that drive.
Yeah.
The Lions have an opportunity to score on that drive. This game could have looked a lot different than the actual final score. I know they scored late anyway, but I mean, the Ravens did themselves a favor making it an 8-point game. Like, just watching that game, it did not feel like an 8-point game. They should have probably won that game by 2 scores at least. I mean, which is just crazy. Which is crazy, by the way.
I hate that. It's like you are right. Like, plays like that in the NFL do happen. But like, even like after week 1, and a lot of fans didn't like that Shep did it because I put out a tweet about it, and people and I was
the yards way thing with the
but I think it's like, and I don't think, like, you do have to look at it in that perspective. Like, how do we win these games? How do you fix these things? It's like, hey, just take like a handful of plays and take those away. Where are you at? Because like in that Packers game, you know how bad that game felt, how bad that offense was, the defense giving up everything. You actually were 2 or 3 plays away in that game from it being a 1-possession game or you having the lead in the first half. You know what I mean? Like, it's that close. It's that, and that's the NFL. It's like that minute where like those small things like could change the full game and make it like a blowout game or not. I think it's fair to say, like, I even think about I said last time with the TA possession where TA gives up back-to-back big plays and gives up the flag in the end zone to give them the ball at the 2-yard line to go score a touchdown. Like, even that, you take that away and you look at it like, TA, man, if you don't get these penalties, especially at the end of a half, they have to kick a field goal, and instead of getting 7, they're getting 3. And like, those are those small things I think that Dan Campbell and those guys look at to where it's like, all right, take that garbage possession away, right, Jeff? That's 7 points. Brian Branch actually catches the ball, which we never see Brian Branch drop interceptions. That man had 6 last year. Like, he doesn't do that. That's 14. And then you take TA's penalty away that he shouldn't have, and you take that from 7 to 3. You just that's 17 points you take off this Ravens team. What did they have? 30?
Yeah.
30. You're talking about they have 13 points at that point. And like those are literally 3 plays. Those are literally like legit just 3 plays. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, think about this comment here, like Jay Hart. By the way, actually, I do want to wait because we do have a TA segment too. Actually, I do want to talk about it at some point too today because he was getting a lot of. Yeah, we'll get to all that too. Here's Dan Campbell talking about more complimentary football. Shout out to MCDC, man. He's fired up in this press conference. You should go watch it if you haven't. But here's this clip.
Need each other to find a way to win this game. You know, the offense was going to need the defense to pick it up. Special teams was going to need the offense to pick it up, and vice versa. So, man, I thought we played complimentary football. We did exactly what we said we needed to do. We were able to corral Lamar. We didn't let Henry get going and Zay Flowers. You know, we came away with takeaways and big stops. And offensively, we were able to control the ground and the time of possession, and our receivers and Goff made plays in critical moments in this game. I just thought it was an outstanding team effort, man. I was proud of the players. I was proud of the coaches. I thought Shep and Johnny and Phip both did a hell of a job in this game, or all of them did a hell of a job. So it's just a huge win. We were going to.
Yeah, and, we're talking right now about a team that does play complimentary football at their best. I mean, they played really well. And this year, I mean, if week 1 did not tell the full story, because week 2 they played insane complimentary football. And then week 3, they played another great game of complimentary football. Like it really does not end with this team. I mean, they're special in the offense. I do want to show some things from the offense here because there are some crazy stats that were put out here about the offense. I know we tweeted out the running back stuff, Dave Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs as a duo. And then you have the trio with Amon-Ra St. Brown in touchdowns. Like these dudes score touchdowns.
Can we talk about it too real quick? I mean, D-Mont.
I mean, yeah, he was.
I wish I could. Should I tweet up those stats so we can at least show it?
Yeah.
Did that I text you guys last night?
Yeah, because he's having.
Or are people going to get mad at that if I tweet that out?
No.
I'll do it from my personal.
No, I mean, for people that don't know the context, like, I mean, Dave Montgomery's statistically off to what he's having a better year right now than Jahmyr. Like, just statistically, obviously the game 150 yards helps, but
I mean that you got to count that because if Jahmyr did that, people would be like, "Well, Jahmyr Gibbs, you know,
exactly.
best running back in the league." So I'm gonna tweet this out so we can do it because I think you got to look at those stats and be like, David Montgomery, huh?
Yeah, I mean, David Montgomery, guys, we went to training camp. You know, I'm sure a lot of there's people in the comments that went to training camp. We all saw the same thing. We saw a David Montgomery who looks leaner, quicker, more agile, but still physically imposing.
Yep.
And you see, I mean, he did get caught against the Ravens. He did get caught, but that's okay. You know, he's not. He doesn't run a 4.3 40, and that's okay. But he looks in the best shape he's ever been in, to be honest. He really does. And this year, the reason why me and Boone were talking so highly about Dave Montgomery is because we knew this backfield, the carry share would be closer than people thought it'd be. And I know people want to hand the ball off to Gibbs and give him, 30 carries a game or 25 carries a game. You got to keep Jahmyr Gibbs fresh. That's why you have a guy like Dave Montgomery. And the actual touches on the year, I think they have a combined 100 touches or something. It really is like 60-40, 55-45. Like it's kind of what we exactly said before the season, how we thought it'd go. It's going to be closer to 50-50 than people think. And so far it's been a little in favor of Jahmyr Gibbs, but look at Dave Montgomery last night, man. He was the MVP. I mean, on offense, he was incredible.
I'm going to share my screen here and I'll pull this up. This when I was looking at stats, my screen just shares like that now. I mean,
it did it to me too. I don't know what.
Yeah, it's like a new system that we have here. So, David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. David Montgomery 233 rushing yards. Jahmyr Gibbs 180. Jeff 35 to 73 receiving yards. David Montgomery has 268 total yards to Jahmyr Gibbs 253. The thing that's baffling to me about this is David Montgomery has 21 less touches than Jahmyr Gibbs and has almost 20 more yards than him. And they both have 3 touchdowns. I don't think people give this guy enough credit. And I don't think people did in the offseason. I'll repeat what you just said there a second ago, is me and you just kept getting told, no, Jahmyr's going to have an offensive player of the year season. Jahmyr's going to go out there. Michael Daly said Mount, not Mount. I love D-Mont. I've been the biggest D-Mont supporter forever. I'll say it how I want to. I love him. He knows that too. But at the end of the day, Jeff, it's just like with D-Mont, we kept getting told Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be offensive player of the year. And I kept pushing back and I'd be like, no, he's not. Like, D-Mont's going to get touches. You do not take touches away from D-Mont. You don't. You go 60-40 and you do what you've been doing. And I've been saying it after the Packers game, after the Bears game. You have to keep getting D-Mont involved somehow, some way. You have to. This offense gets going and it opens more up for Jahmyr Gibbs when D-Mont is out there dominating. And yesterday, I think, was a prime example of it. And I kept pushing all training camp saying, D-Mont is in the best shape of his life. He looks like he's ever been in camp. And yesterday was like the moment where I was like, I don't want to say I told you so, but it was like, hey, I tried to tell the people that this guy looks different than he has in years past. coming off that injury, obviously struggled in the playoffs because of the knee injury. You could tell that he had something he wanted to prove. And when he was asked questions through the preseason, remember, people were like, he felt like people forgot what he could do. And people were asking Dan Campbell about it. And he was like, don't forget about D-Mont. And last night was like the perfect like epitome of what this guy is and what he's about. And I think people need to understand that. Like, you have to save Jahmyr Gibbs. You should be happy you have a D-Mont on your team, so you don't have to do what they do with Saquon or Christian McCaffrey or with Derrick Henry, to where you have to run him a million times into the ground. And who knows if he's going to be healthy come playoff time.
Yeah, the thing about D-Mont that, I mean, this is why you have a guy like this, is because it keeps Jahmyr fresh. It wears defenses down. And this is the special thing about having a run game as great as the Lions. When you go on the road in the playoffs or anywhere, the thing about your run game, especially if they're running the ball like they have the last two games, essentially, that travels anywhere. The passing game, like Jared Goff's, obviously, I mean, we're going to talk about him in a couple minutes. He's been excellent. I mean, he's been excellent. The passing game looks really good. But there's going to be games where maybe they're not excellent. They're not always going to be on point. But if these two are running the ball like they have been, and Monty's playing the way he's playing, we already know what Jahmyr is. He ran for 1,400 yards last year. I mean, almost 2,000 yards from scrimmage. The teams have another thing coming to them if they're running the ball like they have been. I mean, they both have 200-plus all-purpose yards through 3 games. Like, I mean,
D-Mont's on track for 1,300 rushing yards. That's. I know it's only through week 3. Anything can happen, and he could slow down. But either way, like through 3 weeks, just the
this
fact
is without Frank Ragnow and 2 guards that have under 10 games combined played. I mean, they have like 6 games played combined. I mean,
yeah. Can we have this offensive line conversation?
Yeah, let's do it.
I mean, you got to give this offensive line so much credit. 0 sacks back-to-back game. I told you yesterday, I mean, it's a top 5 offensive line. You can argue this is a top 3 offensive line in the NFL right now. And that's with a rookie at right guard. And that's with Christian Mahogany, essentially a rookie at left guard. And Graham Glasgow filling in for Frank Ragnow. And they've just, all credit to like Hank Fraley. And you know what? A lot of people, you guys don't give Brad Holmes credit to Brad Holmes for getting Christian Mahogany as late as he did in the draft last year. And then going and getting a Tate Ratledge in the 2nd, 3rd round this year. Like, all credit to him. Like, You take a step back and you go like, man, that's tough. Like, you lose Zeitler, you don't re-sign Zeitler. That's brutal. All right, we got Tate Ratledge. And Jared talked about it in the post game yesterday. He was like, these 2 new guys at guard, he was like, these guys are getting it down quicker than I've ever seen. Like, everything in the game. And it's not like they're just like going out there and just like struggling. Week 1, they struggled. They figured this thing out like instantly, and they are now a top 3 offensive line in the NFL just like that. I mean, they didn't even get sacks up in back-to-back weeks versus the Bears up front and then the Ravens front. Now, I know they didn't have Kyle Van Noy or Matabuke, but like, that's still, that's a tough defense, dude. Either way, no matter what, dude. You have Mike Green out. They have dudes still on that defense.
Yeah.
0 sacks? That's insane.
I mean, because you can say that people are going to say, well, they didn't have Matabuke. Okay, the Lions didn't have Marcus Davenport. They couldn't block AQM. Like, he had 2.5 sacks. Like, I don't care who's out there. I mean, if you're not taking care of business, man, you never know. Like, Odafe, he's like their best edge rusher on the Baltimore Ravens. He played. I mean, he could have had a big day. They didn't let him. They did a really good job pass blocking for Jared. The last 2 games, Jared's happy. He's barely getting touched. He probably has clean jersey after both games. He walks out of there feeling good, feeling great. And that's the thing we know about Goff. Like, Goff's, this is the thing that doesn't get talked about enough with Jared Goff, right? People want to mention, which I get, like, he isn't mobile. He's not like these new age quarterbacks where he people run around. I mean, Jared's like a throwback quarterback. He's a pocket passer. But the thing about Jared, though, and you can't, undeniable, and this is what makes him so great, is since he's not mobile, he makes up for it with his accuracy, which he is one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the NFL. Another game where, I mean, he has 8 incompletions on the days, 20 for 28, 200 yards. They didn't need a big day out of him, but if they did, he would have did that as well. He did exactly what he needed to win. And some of the throws he was making, like, I mean, the 2 that come to mind, which honestly, this is a whole separate conversation, the Goff and St. Brown connection, one of the best in the NFL right now going. He had the throw to Amon-Ra in the end zone. An absolute
incredible, dude.
dot to him in the end zone. It was a dot. And then he had the throw on 4th down, which was another dot. Like it was, I mean, Amon-Ra obviously has amazing hands, but he put it, it's like Amon-Ra, you got to make the catch. I mean, he put it in the breadbasket.
Right.
And he's throwing with anticipation, which is one of the more underrated things. He did it against the Bears with the Amon-Ra route. He threw it before Amon-Ra turned his head. Perfect throw. Perfect throw.
Amon-Ra said something this week that touched me a little bit, Jeff. He said Jared Goff is the best. Like, obviously, he's going to pump up his quarterback. But he said the one thing about Jared Goff people don't talk about, he says in the NFL, what separates like being great from being just good or good from bad, he's like, if you're great, as a receiver, you're going up against the best defensive backs in the NFL every week, like in the world, right? So it's hard. It's hard to get open. He said Jared Goff is the best in the NFL at throwing players open, at throwing receivers open. And he said no one talks about it enough. Like this guy puts balls in spots to where it's like, I'm going to make sure you're open and you're going to be the only one that's going to be able to get this ball. And you saw it in that touchdown. You saw it too on that 4th down conversion, 4th and 3, when they go for it at the end of the game. And Dan's like, I put all the trust in those guys. Like I know they're going to go make a play. And you see the Jared Goff to Amon-Ra connection. I don't know how you argue just right now. Amon-Ra is probably the best receiver in the NFL, like through 3 weeks, based off of his last couple performances.
Game, he comes back, touchdown game. He didn't have 100+ yards. But
seals the game on 4th down.
The plays he had, he didn't have like a big game yard wise, but the plays he had in that Ravens game, were massive.
6-7 catches, 70 yards, a touchdown, huge plays. Like every play that he made, like again, that 4th down conversion, him making that catch and that throw, like it's incredible. I don't know how you don't. John Gruden said it too. John Gruden was like, if I had to pick one wide receiver right now in the NFL that I want, give me Amon-Ra St. Brown.
He does everything. He does everything well. He can run block. They had him as a lead. I mean, they had him blocking for Jahmyr Gibbs at times as like a lead blocker. I mean, this guy's he can run block. He can line up in the slot. He can line up outside. He has great hands. He can run routes. I mean, he can do everything. He just gets open. And that's what happens when you protect Jared Goff. And I know Brian Baldinger, shout out. We met him in Indy. He broke down the O-line.
He did a whole offensive line breakdown, Jeff. I mean, this guy is incredible. Baldy is one of the best in the game.
Offensive line go to work right here with the 2 tight ends. They just ran the same play over and over again. Let's watch Mahogany and Decker right here on this double team, right up to Roquan Smith.
Oh, my gosh. Look at that hole.
Right there. And Gibbs doesn't miss a hole. So you run that play to the left. Then you come back. You run the play to the right. Here you go. Coming off your goal line right here. Now, here's Tate Ratledge, the rookie, and Sewell. All right, the tight ends, Brock Wright and Laporta.
Oh, Brock in there.
There goes Montgomery for 11 yards. And then you get this. Same play over and over and over again. All right, let's watch right here. Ratledge and Sewell. And there goes Montgomery up the middle, and Sewell's just like pushing Roquan. Everybody gets a block, okay? Jameson Williams gets a block. And there goes Montgomery for 72. All right. And then when you needed it most, 4th and 2, up 31-24, 2 minutes to go in the game, they come out and run the exact same play, except this time they play action. And now they leak Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Goff makes a perfect throw. And then to finish the game,
Marlon Humphrey.
They come back and run the same play. Here it is. Like here's Decker, Mahogany over here. Here's the tight ends. And then over here, geez. There's Ratledge and Sewell, and there's the hole. And there goes Montgomery.
Can you go back, dude? Real quick to that.
It's old school.
The rat. Look at this. Look at the Ratledge on 93.
Then over here.
Right here. Look at these two. Ratledge, boom, and look at Panay out there on the left. Just boom. Nothing. Look at that hole.
And Sewell, and there's the hole.
I could get 15 yards on that, dude.
Yeah, well, that's the thing that I think should be a positive for Lions fans is you saw in that game, like, again, like, guys, let's just take it. I know, like, here's the naysayers. Oh, they didn't have it. Who cares? You started to see flashes of what you're typically seeing with this Lions offensive line, which is just massive holes.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you saw it in the game yesterday. It was a couple times where we're watching the game on our watch party, which you guys should be watching with us, by the way. Every single week we're live. We're watching the game, and I'm like, dude, these holes, they replayed one Jahmyr Gibbs run, and he's just running. It's like they cleared the Red Sea for him, dude.
It's insane, dude.
He's just,
and even if it's not a big one, there's like always a small one. Like that's why D-Mont gets 5 or 6 a carry no matter what. It just he they give him like a boom, quick second, boom. You know, it's incredible. That was why after week 1, Jeff, I just kept saying to you that whole week after. I said, Jeff, just wait to see if they get this run game going. It's the offensive line. It's not John Morton. It's the offensive line. If this offensive line figures this thing out, this offense gets back to where they were. And I think a lot of people, like the people who are calling out this Lions offense saying they lost Ben Johnson, it's not going to work anymore. I've fully believed, like I was didn't care about it. It was always the offensive line. It always will be the offensive line. It's the trenches, especially when you have Jared Goff, man. If you can run the ball and you can open up play action and you give Jared Goff protection, you win the football game 9 times out of 10. And that's a fact. Like, there's nothing else to it. And I think this offensive line, the fact that they've, like, after week 1, all right, what did we do wrong? What went wrong? And, you know, John Morton, did you hear what he was saying with the communication going on the road this week? The man was just like, in practice, we're playing music as loud as we can and playing crowd noise. And he says, any play that we mess up based off of communication because of pre-snaps, we take it out and we're not using it this week. Because he was like, we're not having Green Bay happen again. And then it's like, that's incredible. That's what you want out of your football coach. Like,
correcting mistakes. I mean,
yes. And like, don't just sit there and keep trying the same thing. And a lot of coordinators, a lot of head coaches, a lot of people do that. That's why they're out of jobs. John Morton, and then this is why I think it's all credit to Dan Campbell at the end of the day from the top down. And I'm sure those are Dan things, Dan being like, hey, if it's happening, take it out. We're not doing it. And Dan, that's why Dan's such a good head coach, man.
Yeah, I mean, the Lions, you're lucky to have Jared Goff. Right now, he's 7th in the NFL in yards. He's 2nd in the NFL in passing touchdowns and 2nd in the NFL in QBR. Like, that's what he's doing right now. He's balling. Like, he hasn't been sacked the last 2 games. So, and this is, he was sacked 4 times against the Packers. So, I mean, he hasn't been touched the last 2 games. Oh, he's been touched. I think he took a quarterback hit, but no sacks the last 2 games, given up. So you see what Jared can do when he's not. I mean, any quarterback's obviously going to be much better if they're not being sacked. But Jared Goff, as a pure pocket passer, he's producing. He's producing. And if you keep him clean, he's going to continue to produce. All right. And I know the defense balled out as well, which, you know, we have to talk about the defense. And PFF put this out yesterday, which I had to look at this a couple times. I mean, they put out Lions defense versus the Ravens. All right. 7 sacks, which, by the way, tied for the most sacks Lamar's ever taken in a game. The most. All right. And think about it for a second. Process how hard it is to not only get pressure, which they had 30 pressures against Lamar, but get sacks on Lamar Jackson. And he had plays in that game where they almost got to him a couple more times. He scrambles and makes plays. I think John Gruden brought this up in his breakdown. He's one of I think, like, he brought up statistics. I can't remember the statistics off the top of my head, but it was statistics to prove how hard it is to get him because he makes all these plays when he scrambles. I forgot the stats when he scrambles, but scrambling outside the pocket, Lamar has like a crazy touchdown to interception ratio, whatever it is. Like, he just finds a way to make plays when he's getting pressure. Yesterday, the Lions not only kept those plays down, but they forced a turnover. There was a forced fumble that he recovered, by the way, that Jack Campbell got on him on the 4th down play. So he almost had 2 turnovers, 30 pressures, 7 sacks, you know. And Lamar, I mean, Derrick Henry forced a fumble, or he fumbled the ball. Again, 3rd time in a row, by the way, Derrick Henry fumbled, which is crazy. But Lamar almost fumbled, so they almost forced 2 turnovers. But 7 sacks and 30 pressures against that team. Like,
there's an update. 34 pressures. PFF updated this morning. 34
pressures. Which is even another ridiculous thing. So it's like, and they don't have Aleem McNeil yet, who is their best pass rushing defensive tackle. Like, you can't. It's like the defense, dude. I don't know. And this is another stat, by the way, which, you know what, people can talk about the defensive line, and you guys can take your victory laps based on the data here. I mean, look at this. Detroit Lions PR put this out. The only times the Lions have produced at least 11 sacks through the first 3 games of the season, 2025. Last time they did it, 2010, 1997, 1983. Wow. It's been 15 years since they did 11 sacks through 3 games.
Yeah, I mean, and last night was a big game. Obviously, you have 7, so you get to, I mean, it changes everything, right? You only had 4 through the first 2 games. I don't even know if we got to Jordan Love. Did we get to Jordan Love at all?
No, they didn't. No, that's actually, I'm glad you brought that up. Green
so you
Bay
have 11 sacks in 2 games.
Yeah, they didn't get a sack on him or anything. So this is basically 2 games.
And you know what? I'll say this, like, and this is where I kind of veer off a little bit, and I see people on Twitter today, as people can take victory laps on the whole edge situation and all that. I still think like it's fine for fans. It's like I'll justify fans to be able to, like, you can have a concern. That's why I hate the people who do take some of these victory laps when it comes to the edge room, because then essentially you're just saying, hey, you can never have an opinion negative towards Brad Holmes and the Detroit Lions. Like, and I hate that. Like, I think fans and people should be able to say what they want, how they feel, and it should be justified. And you should be able to be like, yeah, that's fair. Unless it's anything like I see people in our chat today being like, are people going to apologize for going at Brad Holmes? Like, no, I will never apologize for saying how we feel about the edge room. I still think they should have moved on from Davenport and went and got someone else. And you have AQM. Like, you can never have too many edge rushers, right? You should still have Zadarius Smith in this room with AQM and Hutch. Like, that, I was dying that hill. I'll never justify and be like, you're not allowed to have an opinion. Like, no, that's the dumbest thing. I see people, I even see beat writers on Twitter trying to take victory laps about it and be like, oh, like, what are you talking about? Like, people can have opinions. We could be like, hey, hand up, might have been wrong about AQM. AQM is incredible. Like, who knew that? Like, the man in the post game last night was like, I was on the couch a year ago, and now I have an opportunity in the NFL and taking advantage of it. So, like, yeah, kudos to Brad for finding an AQM, right? I still believe that they should have more edge rushers and more, and even after getting 7 sacks. Like, I just think in the NFL as a contender, you can never have too many. And obviously Davenport goes down. That was supposed to be their edge one. So you can't justify that. Like, I think people should be able to have that opinion. But at the end of the day, like, kudos to Kelvin Shepard. Kudos to AQM, Hutch, the linebacking crew who has dominated. Like, why? I mean, it's crazy, Jeff, to me that people are trying to take victory laps on people that were going at this pass rush when week 1, Kelvin Shepard comes out post game and the next day and is like, we were terrible pass rush. Like, we did not have a pass rush. Our linebackers were brutal in the pass rush. And he's like, it's being addressed. We're going to talk about it and we're going to move on. Right? Like, it was still a fact that this pass rush after week 1 was horrid. It was horrific. So instead of being like, hey, apologize to Brad Holmes, no one needs to apologize. It was a fact that after week 1, this pass rush was bad. I think more so, instead of apologizing, you give credit to guys like Kelvin Shepard and the players themselves for being able to flip the switch after week 1 and go week 2, get 3 sacks in week 3 versus Lamar Jackson, go on the road and get 7 sacks and 34 pressures. You know what I'm saying? And that's why the victory lap stuff, like, hey, I'll say like hand up with AQM. We didn't expect him to do what he did yesterday. But at the end of the day, like, we can't get over the fact that week 1, they looked horrific. And now week 3, they were able to make adjustments. They were able to move on. Just like Kelvin Shepard said, they addressed it. And they did just that. And they figured this thing out. Now I want to see it weeks 3 or weeks 4, weeks 5, week 6, until Davenport gets back. But it was incredible. Like, the fact that right now that the Detroit Lions are second in the NFL in sacks with 11. Me and you for years, Jeff, we've done this show together for a long time now. One thing me and you always talked about was you have to be top 10 in sacks to go win a Super Bowl. Your defense has to be top, whatever it is. Like, you have to get to the quarterback if you want to win a Super Bowl. And these guys did it. They looked incredible last night.
You have to be able to get to the quarterback. This is the thing with Super Bowl teams, right? It's head coach, quarterback. That'll give you a chance to win. Defense, you need a good defense, and it starts with the guys up front, because if you're going to face any elite quarterback in the Super Bowl, especially the AFC, how the quarterbacks are lining up in the AFC, you've got to be able to get to them. You saw what the Eagles did against Patrick Mahomes. They got to him. You saw the Buccaneers when they beat Mahomes. They got to him. That's how you win these. And last night, they beat the Ravens. What they do, Booner, they got to him. And it's the front 7. The front 7 played excellent. It's not just the defensive line. Like AQM obviously had a day. I mean, he was the player. I mean, he was the player of the game, and the Lions put it out. I mean, look at this guy. Here, I'll put this down so you can actually see it. But he had 4 tackles, 2.5 sacks, 2 tackle for losses, and 3 quarterback hits. He played out of his mind. He had an incredible game. Credit to him. He balled out. The front 7, though, the linebackers, Derek Barnes, we know he can get to the quarterback. He did that. He got a sack. Jack Campbell got a sack. Anzalone got half a sack. So Nowoski
keep going. Yeah, thank you. I would say keep going. Hutch got a sack. 4 linebackers with at least half a sack or more. And then you talk about AQM, 2.5 sacks, Aidan Hutchinson, a sack. Like, the front 7 won that football game for you. The front 7 won the football game for you. The run defense, what they displayed, Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson, they were the number 1 rushing team last year. Number 1 in the NFL. You held them to under 100 yards yesterday. That's why you won that football game. Yep.
Like, despite some big plays being given up from Taron Arnold. And he played better in the second half, but still, that first half was rough. The front seven won that football game for you. And I'm just happy that not only are the defensive line played better, and fun fact, Aidan Hutchinson is starting to heat up. This is what's incredible. He's not even where he's getting to the point where he was in training camp. He's not there yet, and they're still doing this. So wait till Hutch gets to the point where he's dominating. But the linebacker crew was a big reason why, because when they're rushing, when they're rushing 5, you got linebackers coming in. Those guys got to win too. And Derek Barnes and Jack and Anzo and Trevor Nowoski, Trevor came in and still made some plays.
I mean, Trevor played like 8 snaps, and it felt like every time he was on the field, he was
doing something. He's making plays out there, man. So credit to AQM. He balled out yesterday. I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting more depth, because after AQM, you really got nothing in that room. So hopefully those guys just continue to stay healthy. So depth is obviously something that people, if you ask for, I'm not going to argue. I think it's fair. But AQM is showing that he can be your DN too. It's what he's displaying right now. He's playing out of his mind. He has 3.5 sacks in 3 games. And by the way, he didn't play really much in week 1. Calvin talked about upping his snaps in week 2. He didn't play that much in week 1. So really, it's like 2.5 games, really, he's played. And he has 3.5 sacks. Like, he's like top 5 in the NFL in sacks, I think, right now. Like top 3, whatever it is. So he's balling, man. Like, credit to the defense. And I got to give a ton of credit to Kelvin Shepard, because here's the thing about Kelvin Shepard. I talked about this on the postgame show. That was Kelvin Shepard. And this is the thing I love about Kelvin, is he has his own identity he's implementing on this team. Right now, you can see it. And John Gruden talked about this in his breakdown when he broke down the game. He said, I watched film the first 3 games. One thing you're noticing about Kelvin Shepard, what he does is he's running more zone, right? They're still like a press man team at times, but they're running more zone blitzes. Like, it's different. It's different from what AG did. It is different. They're running more zone. And on top of that, which is the biggest difference, is the quarterback spy. The last 2 games, Caleb Williams, they did it at times, and Lamar Jackson, they did it at times. And guess what? It works. Like, I'm sorry, Aaron Glenn. I think Aaron Glenn's great. But one thing Aaron Glenn always believed is don't ever ask me about a quarterback spy. I'll never do it. And then Kelvin steps in his first 3 games, 2 of them, he's implementing a quarterback spy. And guess what? Lamar Jackson, mobile. Caleb Williams, he's not Lamar, but he's mobile. He kept those guys in check. Like, I know Aaron Glenn's thing is, it takes away a defender, but Calvin's like, hey, man, respect to AG. That's my guy. That's my mentor. I'm using a quarterback spy, and it's been working. And they're doing better against mobile quarterbacks, which you talked about earlier. It's always been the Lions' Achilles heel. Even before, like, Aaron Glenn, it's always been a problem. And Kelvin Shepard's finally adjusting, learning from Aaron Glenn what to do, what not to do. And Kelvin is doing a hell of a job so far. Yeah. I mean, he is doing one hell of a job, and his adjustments are working. And it's similar personnel, so you can't say, well, it's a different. They're a better defense, but a lot of these guys are returning starters. They're just getting better, obviously, with another year. But yeah, Calvin's been incredible.
Mentioned it last night in the post game, Jeff. Like, just to me with Shep, and I love, like, when they hired Shep, Dan Campbell did the press conference, and right away it was like, hey, Shep's already wanting to change things, and not fully, like, obviously same schemes, kind of what the AG style, but hey, he wants to put his own kind of twist on this defense. And we did talk about throughout training camp, a lot of the players were like, hey, he's more aggressive, but aggressive in a creative way that's not going to hurt you. And I think the biggest thing, like, with that, with AG, where AG just always refused to use a quarterback spy, like you said, when they asked him, he was like, I'm not doing it. And we're sticking to man. Like, he was so set on his ways. But to me, it's more so like, hey, you have to be able to, especially in the NFL with the teams you go up against, like, every team and every offense is so different. Like, Lamar Jackson is a 2-time MVP. You could argue could be 3, could be 4. Like, this guy is different. You cannot play him like you're going to play like a Jordan Love versus the Packers. And in the past, it was just like, hey, you're running the same defense no matter what quarterback you're going up against, no matter what weapons they have, you're just doing hey, press man, with no quarterback, nothing. With Shep the last 2 weeks, you've noticed, like, he's not afraid to do anything it takes to try and get a stop and win the football game. quarterback spy. Like, he will try everything. And that's where I think the difference is. And I said it last night. Like, I truly do think like that defensive performance last night from a DC standpoint when it comes to Shep, to get the 7 sacks on Lamar Jackson, for Hutch to get the turnover, for them to be in the positions that they were. I had actually wrote down here, like, hold on, let me go to my notes, because I was putting it in my notes last night when I got home. The defense last night, Jeff. These are some of those, a punt, turnover on downs where, again, as a DC, having your players in positions, they had 4 downs inside the 3-yard line and stopped them every single time. And on the 4th play, Jack Campbell gets back there and almost forces a turnover, and they get the ball at the 15-yard line. Another punt, a field goal, a fumble, another punt, and then they had their garbage time touchdown. And then they did have 3 scores within there. But like, you just look at those like possessions, like, it felt like over the last 2 or 3 years, that was one of the best games from a DC that we've had here in Detroit in a long time. And this is Kelvin Shepard's 3rd game as a DC in the NFL. And you could tell, like, he was fired up on the sidelines. Like, the energy he brings, he is like AG with the energy and how he is on the sidelines. But also schematically, like you said, like, he's trying different things and he's doing different things to put these guys in positions to win. Like, he's not just going straight man the whole time as AG has in the past, right? Like, he's doing zone. He quarterback spy. Okay, we're going to figure this thing out.
He's more innovative.
Yes, and that's what this team's. That's what they've needed. That's why you saw a continuous every time you play the same type of mobile quarterback, a Josh Allen, a Lamar Jackson, a Patrick Mahomes. Like, you keep seeing the same things over and over, and you're like, at what point are you going to try and change it? Why not try quarterback spy in moments, right? Why not? Shep's like, I will, and he did, and they won because of it.
Yeah, he's putting his own spin on it, man. That's why I like young coordinators. I mean, I know there's the Vic Fangios, the Spags, these older guys that are just elite, but I like young guys that are innovative, former players. And I know Aaron Glenn was a former player, but Calvin's a former player he's also in his 30s. He's kind of in the new generation of like seeing defenses, how to play quarterbacks. He's a linebacker, which is you got to be highly not intelligent to play linebacker. Like, Calvin's obviously a very, very bright guy. And he knows his players. They play hard for him. You see that. I mean, they make big plays. Calvin's on the sideline, jumping up and down, cheering. I mean, guys are running all over. It's like he's celebrating like a player at times. Like, I just love his energy. It's infectious. And the way he speaks to the media, he has a command to him. Like, he has like Aaron Glenn had this, man. Like, Aaron Glenn came to the media and talked. You're like, this guy's a head coach. Calvin has that type of like presence. He goes to a press conference, like you said. He takes accountability. Week 1, he's like, unacceptable. It's not going to happen. Like, this isn't going to happen again. I'm going to talk to those guys. You know, he'd shoot out some guys in a coach way where he didn't throw them under the bus, but he kind of nonchalantly called some guys out. Like TA, he was like unacceptable. TA, like, if you're hurt, get out the game. You know what's
crazy to me too? I posted the thing like, hey, this is what you want out of the DC. Like, Shep's going to be a coach in this league for a long time. 90% of the comments, and these are Lions fans, are in the comments like, what are you talking about? Like, he didn't take responsibility once, this, that. I mean, dude, I would rather this guy go out there and hold these players accountable. You're in the NFL. Like, as a DC, you know he's taking responsibility. It's about, I think the biggest thing, it's about giving credit to the players, but also, like, when they're not playing well, you hold them accountable. And most of the time, 70% of the time in the NFL, head coaches, coordinators, like, they struggle to hold players accountable because of, these are big names out there. And Shep is like, I don't care who you are, what you are, nothing. Like, you're getting held accountable if you play bad, and I'm going to let you know it. And I respect that. And not a lot of coaches do that in this league.
Let's see. I want to get some comments here. Michael, shout out Michael. He says the issue though, Hefe, is no depth for AQM or Hutch. Yeah, like I said,
still a problem.
Yeah, you just want depth. And again, people are, oh my God, how dare after AQM has a big game. It has nothing to do with AQM. He's actually been really good to keep playing him. They do need depth though. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're.
I think you should apologize to Brad Holmes, Jeff.
You're an injury away from basically Pat O'Connor lining up at edge, which, like, I mean, they got to figure that out for sure. You just got to add maybe one more body in there because Marcus is out for 4 games, so they're going to need some depth. Jesse, that run defense is going to get better too when we get Pascal McNeil back too. That will help the DB so much in the long term. I'd rather AQ over that glass doll named Davenport. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to use this to take shots at Davenport. I mean, I get he's injury prone. We know that. We've talked about it. He's been injured his whole career. It's terrible. It's not his fault. He doesn't wake up and decide he's going to get injured. but AQM has proven he can hold it down. And even when Davenport gets back, AQM's got to play just as many, if not more snaps. I mean, he's earned it to play.
Yeah.
And they're going to get Pascal back. They're going to get Ali McNeil back. And that's more depth, at least for the interior. I mean, Pascal, I don't know if I love him outside. He's kind of like, he'd be like Pat O'Connor is essentially playing, I think, Josh snaps, where he's kind of a tweener. Josh is a tweener.
Yeah, I think Josh is just so good on rundowns, defense. If you have a first down, in my opinion, I honestly, when Josh Pascal gets back, if he's fully healthy, I would like to see Aidan Hutchinson, DJ Reader, Ty Leak, and Josh Pascal out there. Like, that's your front four for a run defense. And I think that's a really good run defense, because last year Pascal I felt like he was very, very good in the run game. That was like probably the best part of his game last year. And that's probably what he's known for.
Yeah, when Josh, I mean, they were a great run defense with Josh. Like, you could say that about Josh. Great run defender. Not really a great pass rusher, but again, he does his thing in the run game. So when they get Aleem and Josh back, and they did really good without them, obviously, against Derrick Henry, which is a whole nother thing. Like, Derrick Henry's throwing tantrums on the sideline. I mean, he after the fumble, he just completely looked defeated, which you do that against Derrick Henry. He's one of the hardest running backs to match up with. And we were talking about it in the post game. Every time guys tackle him, it looks painful. And he just went out there and did his thing. So,
yeah,
he really did. He came out there and was super, super impressive. So credit to him. Super Bowl Wilson says Pat O'Connor actually started the game. AQM is the depth.
I think it's just the run.
Yeah,
I think Pat O right now is probably like your run stopper, because he's more so the tweener. He's a little bit bigger. So I would say Pat O is in that position. We did see yesterday. It was so interesting. We saw Pat O dropping in coverage yesterday. There was a play where I was like, who's in coverage there? It's just Pat O'Connor back in coverage in the flats. I'm like, what's happening here? It was insane.
Let me see. I do want to show the doc clip. We didn't. Someone just I think it was Michael. I didn't get to.
By the way, too, I noticed, and I'm going to ask the doc this. When Dan saw the doc was up, because you can hear the PR people be like, John, you're next. Dan had a little bit like a little. Yes. I don't know if it's in the video clip, but when I watched the Lions YouTube, there was definitely a sigh.
This is the doc. Shout out to the DOC. He'll be joining us on Wednesday. This is him asking Dan Campbell. Look at Dan's face. He's like, this son of a bitch, man.
That look right there is so funny. I don't know if you can hear like the sigh from Dan when he sees John, but
let's take a listen.
With the performance with 7 sacks, how much momentum can a defense get after a performance like that, especially with all the talk on the outside about the lack of sacks in the pass rush?
Well, I mean, we know what we got here. We don't need, anybody telling us what we do or don't have, or, I thought you were going to ask me about motioning today. But we feel good about it, man. We feel good about it, and look, it takes everybody doing their job, and our guys did that, so it was good. John?
Yeah, you can tell. And Doc, he's telling you.
I think they have a good relationship. I don't think Doc or Dan hates the Doc. I
love the Doc, the questions he asks. I think it's great.
Yeah.
You need a guy in the room like that to ask.
I do think Dan and those guys understand that. Like there's going to be guys who ask tough questions, and they might not be ones you like. And there's going to be moments where you react as a human, and you probably push back a little bit at it. And then obviously Dan. I think the fact that Dan joked about it, now, like, hey, they're just fine.
Yeah, and Dan said he's been consistent. Like, Dan has said, I believe in the guys in that room, and AQM,
he has to. He's the head coach. Has to. What is he going to be like? No, I don't.
He and AQM showed he had the right to believe in him. I mean, he did his thing. Michael says, well, they added motion finally. We could say Doc saved our season. To
be fair, Doc was not wrong too. Like, people are like Phil's like, it's Doc's fault. No, the Doc was right. Like, there was national media who went out after and tweeted out the motion percentages. And the Lions last year were top 10 in motion on the road. And this year, and in Green Bay, they were like 30th. So like it was clear. And I'm with Michael daily. I think Dan and no, Jeff, seriously, I think the fact that Dan remembered the motion thing, I think after week 1, they saw the stats and Dan was like, they probably went in their coach's room and went, boys, this guy, John Macaroon, called this out. Can we get the stat? And he was like, Dan's probably like, I looked at the stat. Like, we need to get some pre-snap motion. We need to get some movement.
Yeah. He's like, what's going on? I mean, we had the DOC call us out. I mean, we got to get our shit together here. I mean, look at Motor City Street Scene. He says it's crazy how on First Take right now, they will not praise the Lions offense for smacking the Ravens, but they are more concerned about the Ravens defense being bad.
To be fair, listen, Jeff, I will stand up for First Take here. After week 1, it has been a conversation about the Ravens defense. This has been like a ongoing.
And you got to think like
we knew it.
National media, that's the story. People, they're working from a national perspective, so they're looking at it. What content or what should we talk about that people are going to enjoy? Whether it's right or wrong, they think the Ravens defense or the Ravens with Lamar, more popular player, that's going to draw more than the Lions. Which, like, okay, fine, let the local media. We'll cover the win then. We'll talk about all the things the Lions did good, because they should be talking about the Lions deserve national coverage after yesterday. It was one of the biggest wins under Dan Campbell. Like, I mean, that was an incredible. It was a primetime game. I mean, it was. I would think, and I know someone said earlier, oh, the Chiefs week 1, like a Super Bowl defending champs. They didn't have Chris Jones or Travis Kelce. I know that's up there, but this one just felt different. It just felt like a way tougher matchup. I don't know. I would put it up there. I think the Chiefs is up there. The Ravens are up there. And then that Minnesota game on the road to win the division's definitely up there. I think those are like the top 3 wins under Dan Campbell and the regular season for sure. That was a statement win last night. So they deserve all the love. And Dan also talked about the defense and stopping Lamar Jackson and the all the plays they made. So let's take a listen.
I felt really good about what we were going to be able to do. The rest is just wait until Monday night to see it go, see it in action. But those guys were very disciplined. They played off each other. They casted the net. They closed the net. We didn't have anybody jumping up in the air, diving, ill-advised diving. Man, they all bottled him up. They were disciplined, and guys made, huge plays, and he had nowhere to go, and that's the key. So it takes an enormous amount of discipline for your guys, and they did that. I mean, across the board, all of them. I felt really good about.
Well, discipline, by the way, that comes from coaching, which is a fun fact. So that's your disciplined football team. That comes from coaching. So
hey, I got some too. I just want to throw this out there. I know a lot of people don't like PFF. I do enjoy PFF grades because it does tell, as much as people are PFF grades, it does tell a story after the games where you have an idea of how, especially like offensive linemen. Let me share this real quick.
Yeah. Oh, I'm excited for this one. Let's see the offense.
Honestly,
PFF's great for offensive linemen because you can't really judge them on. They don't have stats or anything.
I have 2 here. Oh, I clicked the wrong button. I clicked invite a guest. We don't have a guest coming on right now. Oh, wrong one. No, yeah, this is the right one. Nolan Bianchi. Great. And we're going to get Nolan back on too. I had him on when I was solo for the week, Jeff. One of the best I think we've had on the show. He's elite. We said Lions offensive tackle Penei Sewell was the highest graded offensive lineman with the 98.7 grade in the NFL for week 3. Tate Ratledge, Jeff, was the 4th highest graded offensive lineman in the NFL this week at 91.4, and Taylor Decker was 9th at 82.9. I will say this. A lot of people gave Taylor Decker a lot of hate this offseason. The last 2 weeks, just haven't heard Taylor Decker's name. Great thing. He's just doing his thing on that left side of the line. He's just doing his thing. And the fact that he was the 9th highest graded offensive lineman, that's not just tackles. That's like as a whole. Guard, center, tackle, everything. The 9th best one this in week 3. That's incredible. That's huge. That's what you've needed to see out of those guys. Well, especially Tate is a rookie.
Well, yeah, Tate, a rookie. Christian Mahogany, basically a rookie. Like you can't argue the way they're playing the last 2 games. They're a top 3 offensive line in football. Top 3. I mean, they're playing like one of the best offensive lines. Now I'm just through these last 2 games. I mean, week 1 it was bad, but week 2 and 3 they're playing like one of the best in the NFL. That's how they're playing. Jared Goff, no sacks taken. They're running the ball well. What else you want out of those guys? Like they're playing their ass off. So that's great for the Lions, obviously, having that. And that's no Frank Ragnow. Credit to Graham, too. I know he gets a lot of crap. He held his own yesterday. Graham was under the bottom of some dog piles, man. You see Graham?
Dude, he was getting beat up, man.
I mean, Graham's getting stepped on. I mean, people are laying on him. He's getting, he's getting worked, and he held his own. He was great last night.
I mean,
so.
I just keep seeing offensive stats come through, Jeff. Lions PR tweeted out the Lions have topped 900 yards and 90 points over their last 2 games. They haven't done that since 1950. 1950.
We're talking NFL championship. That's 1950s. I mean, we're talking not even Super Bowl era. I mean, we're talking NFL championship here. That's insane. I mean, it really is.
That's nuts, dude.
Before we get to, I do want to talk some Tara and Arnold because we're going to have to get to the TA conversation. But before we do that, I need to tell you about our friends over at Comer and Cross in their one-day installation concrete floor coatings, because I'm telling you, just like that O-line, Comer and Cross, solid. They take care of their customers. They protect their customers just like the O-line protected Jared Goff. And I'm telling you right now, during Comer and Cross in their sale they got going on right now, they're offering 12 months same as cash or $500 in savings. So why put off getting a new Comer and Cross concrete floor? Call the number 248-834-3488. They'll transform your patio, your pool deck, your basement, even your driveway, and they move the stuff out for you. Like I said, they take care of their customers. Call the number 248-834-3488. That's 248-834-3488, or book your free estimate at comercross.com. It's another thing that I want to show that actually Nolan Bianchi tweeted out that I thought was a good question. Before we move on, talk TA and show JMO's brother's tweet. Nolan put this out. Most impressive part of tonight's Lions win was blank. Chat, answer the question. The most impressive part of tonight's Lions win was blank. And this is a great question because there's a lot of things that were impressive in last night's win. But if it was up to me, the most impressive part of tonight's Lions win, I would say, was their front seven. I would say front seven. That's the most impressive part of yesterday's win to me. Not the O-line, not David Montgomery, even though they were all impressive. Not Jared Goff throwing dots. It was the front seven on defense. That was the most impressive part of yesterday. Because if you could do that to Lamar Jackson, you can make any quarterback in the NFL at that level struggle. If you're playing like that, we're talking Josh Allen, we're talking Mahomes, we're talking some of the best quarterbacks in the National Football League. And the guys that you have on your schedule, Jalen Hurts, Jaden Daniels, right? Like Baker Mayfield, Patrick Mahomes, all these guys they have coming up. If that front seven plays like that, you're going to have a chance to win all those games. So the most part of last night's win to me, front seven, I would say.
Defensively, yeah, that's fair. I'm going to go offensive line. I think it was the offensive line. I think I'm going to stick with it. Like we've seen those Lions team go to the NFC Championship game and win 15 games without like a full defense. I think the reason you're in those positions is because of your offense. Obviously, you're one of the best in the NFL, if not the best. And again, it starts with the offensive line. The fact that this offensive line gave up 0 sacks versus a Baltimore Ravens defense, I think is one of the most incredible things. I think it's just as impressive as getting 7 sacks on Lamar. Maybe not because Lamar, that's only the second time ever, but just 0 sacks on Jared Goff for back-to-back weeks is incredible at the end of the day. It's and especially when you have essentially 2 rookies in there. That's something else, man, in the NFL. And that's a Jared Goff too, who's not mobile, right? Like who needs the protection, and they give it to him.
Yeah, I mean, you see people answering the question. Michael says 7 sacks. Peaceful Tim says John Morton. Most impressive part of the win was John Morton. Glad they didn't fire you. FTP. I see Joe says the most impressive is that so many players could be filled in. That's another thing about coaching too, man. And I mean, they displayed that last year, though. We didn't learn that. I mean, last year they had all the injuries and guys were coming in and maybe they were winning with whoever they had out there. I mean, they had Jamal Adams playing snaps, respectfully. I mean, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Ghetto Boy wants us John Morton went on a 98-yard drive and a 90-yard drive.
They had 2 90-plus yard drives, and obviously the one with the David Montgomery 70-yarder, but like, dude.
That's insane.
It's nuts, dude. They're backed up at the 1 yard line, and they end up pushing it out essentially almost. Maybe not the 1, but the 2. Like, it's impressive.
Yeah, Aidan also spoke to the media, so I want to show this clip of him on containing Lamar Jackson. and he spoke about that. Got the unbroken hoodie, by the way. Look at that.
And get the run pass option outside the pocket. The way you guys played him today, how impressive was that?
Yeah, it was good. I think at first we were trying to. I think we were just running a little too many games, and he was kind of creasing, cutting up those games a little bit that we were running, and I think we just kind of went into let's just rush straight, let's get after it, and let's go win, and that's what we did. Big shout out for the coverage. I mean, that's what happens when good coverage marries good rush, is you get sacks, and that's the name of the game. And today was that, and we didn't even start off that hot with the sacks. It's something that just kept picking up steam as we went. So I'm really happy and proud of everybody. Quan with 2.5, I think, which is so happy for him. And everyone else had 1, I think, but it was really, really good defensive second half, I think.
Some completely different outcomes like that. Week 1, week 2, but can this kind of be a barometer to show you guys can compete with any team in the league? Just what does this show you guys, this type of victory, as far as a barometer where you guys at in comparison to the rest of them?
For sure, it's always good to win those big competitive games, and I knew we were a good team, and I know, people were doubting us after that Green Bay game, and we got the big test in Cleveland next week. So is that right? Yeah. So it's just NFL. It's going to be every week. We got to bring our A game, and when we brought it today, and it paid off. But it's we're 2-1 now, and we got to stack them.
I wanted to ask. I mean, where are we at in terms of confidence in a Super Bowl caliber? The Lions having Super Bowl caliber coordinators. Are we at a point where it's like we're back? We believe these guys, because I know that was a big thing with Klotz. He was a little more skeptical. Didn't think that the coordinator change. I think he thought it would hurt them when it comes to the Super Bowl, not being a good team, but winning the Super Bowl. Where are we at with that? Because in my opinion, you should have more confidence in this game. This Baltimore Ravens game should at least give you so much confidence, because that's a Super Bowl caliber staff the Ravens have. And you just did that. So on the road. So I think you should be people should be way more confident in these two. Rolling with these coordinators for sure for the rest of the year. And the Super Bowl.
I think after the last 2 weeks, you can look at it and you can really be like, especially after week 1, the adjustments that they've made. You question after week 1 defensively, obviously with the Shep not getting after the quarterback, and then offensively, everything just looked terrible. The offensive line communication, and that's all starts with the coordinators at the end of the day. Like, that's their jobs, right, is to make sure that communication's good and that you're in a good position to win a football game. And then they bounce back-to-back weeks. I mean, I have full confidence, to be honest, that they can. And the thing, too, I think the thing you got to look at is they're only going to get better. It's week 3, and they're already, John Martin already has his team as a top 3 offensive in the NFL, and Shep has his team, second in the NFL in sacks. And obviously there are things that they can get better at, but it's week 3. Like, you have, 14 more games to improve, and for these guys to get more, calls and different, more games under their belt to get better and better as coordinators, because they're both, at the end of the day, like John Martin, yes, was with the Jets. Feels like a first-time coordinator in the position that he's in with the team that he has. And Shep, obviously, a first-time coordinator as well. So they're only going to get better. I have full confidence. There's nothing in my mind where it's like you get into the playoffs, these guys are going to fold. Nothing at all. They just both went on the road in Baltimore, and they're incredible. And same with Dave Phipp. Like, Phipp, special teams is always just spot on. They're always getting the job done. So I don't have any worries right now, to be honest. Jeff, me and you have talked about it all offseason long. Like, you're going to give these guys until week 7, week 8 to see what they are, and it's week 3, and they've already kind of taken this thing over, and at a high level. Not even like it was like just a small, like they've taken it over at a high level.
Yeah, well, speaking of high level, many would say Taron Arnold did not play at a high level, especially the first half of that game. And Jameis Williams' brother was at the game, obviously, and he posted this on his story. He said, 6 so ass, it's getting ridiculous. This shit every week, bruh. I'm sorry, I gotta laugh because it's just the most random thing. I mean, we're watching the game and we're seeing Jameson Williams' brother like trending, and he just posts this this Instagram story basically calling TA, who is a former Alabama Crimson Tide DB, obviously with Jameis Williams,
With
former
JMO.
Alabama Crimson Tide wide receiver. obviously they both went to Bama, and his brother just straight up calls him ass. And then his next, we don't have the next one, but he basically stood on business. The next one he posted, because I'm sure people were sliding up like, "What, dude? You get?" And he, nope, standing on business. I'm just calling it like I see it. Basically, he said. So I will say for like TA, and listen, there's so many positive things to take away from the game, and we spent the last hour and 20 minutes covering it. So this isn't us. And I know people are going to say you're looking for something to be negative about, but here's the reality. All right. Terran Arnold in that game, as much as like he did have moments where he did not look great, he actually wasn't the worst graded corner when it comes to coverage. Actually, Amik Robertson was yesterday. He allowed 5 targets, 5 receptions, 80 yards. So Amik didn't have a great game. So I don't want to single out TA. There's a couple guys that did not have a great game, but TA did not have a great one either. 5 targets, 3 receptions for 58 yards. So he and 2 of them, and the ones we talked about on the watch party, big plays. I mean, there was a drive where it was literally TA, and then they scored.
I think that's just, dude. At the end of the day with TA, like people are like bust, bench him. He can still play. Like TA is not bad, but it's just every time that something bad comes up, it's just big moments, and that's the issue. It's like in Green Bay, you're looking to get a stop to keep yourself in the game, and he gives up back-to-back massive plays, one of them being a huge touchdown for that Green Bay team to just gain all the momentum in the world and go win that football game. And then last night, you're trying to get a stop to end the half to keep it 14-7 or force a field goal to go 14-10, and he just gives up a big play to DeAndre Hopkins, and then he gives up a penalty when it's like, it's not even just like, hey, it's a full game of bad TA, but it's like we said it last night, these are just things where it's like, dude, this is happening to you. This is a rookie mistakes. Like the penalty, you should never get that in the NFL. Like you can't get that penalty, especially when there's 30 seconds left in the half and you're just trying to force a field goal and you give them the ball at the 2-yard line. Like it's not like it's a 15-yard. It's spot of, isn't it a spot of foul? So it's a 2 or 3-yard line, and now they just punch it in with Derrick Henry. Like you can't put yourselves in those positions, and it's literally just it's the same mistakes that are happening. Like not turning, not looking for the ball, being too handsy. It's like these are the same things over and over. And Shep talked about it after week 1. Like, dude, you're having the same mistakes, and I think that's the frustrating part for Lions fans. It's not just hey, TA's getting cooked. No, it's like in big moments and moments when you need to get a stop, it's TA that's either getting cooked or he has a penalty. And it's like it's happened 2 out of the 3 games now, and it's just obvious. And obviously when you go through that, it's going to stand out more when you do make a mistake because so many eyes are on you because of that. But you just can't it's frustrating. It really is in those moments because we're like, TA got cooked again. And it's just like, these are preventable plays. Like these are things that you should have learned from as a rookie, and that we've been told, hey, he has learned and he's gotten better from that. And then obviously not in these Monday Night Football big game, essentially gives up a touchdown with the penalty.
Yeah, and I think the important point here is to not give up on TA yet. You can't give up on him. It's a second year. Not everyone's going to be elite in their second year. I know corner is one of the positions you try to be a little more patient. And I know what people would say, well, Jeff, why do I got to wait on TA when guys like Quinion Mitchell were great right away? It happens sometimes. Like some guys are going to get it earlier. Sauce Gardner was great his rookie year. Darius Slay wasn't good till his second, maybe third year. Darius Slay was benched. Yeah. So, there are times where, it's fair to be frustrated. I mean, he's struggling to start the year. There's no question. He's one of the worst graded corners on PFF out of all eligible corners. I mean, and if you say, well, PFF's wrong, well, my eyeballs don't lie either. He has not been great. But here's the thing that I try to look at. Me and you mention this all the time. We watched him in training camp. I know what we saw. He played really well in training camp. So I don't know if it's more of just a, adjustment period for him. Like I know training camp, you're playing the same guys all the time. So you kind of know tendencies, and then you get in the regular season, you're facing different looks every single week. You're in games. Obviously it's different. Guys they're scheming specifically to get open and utilize your weaknesses. So he's being a little bit exposed at times, but I'm not going to sit here and say that he's a bust. I think I will say a positive thing about TA. He's been a really good run defender. He's a top 13 graded corner when it comes to run defense. Now, you don't ask him to do that, but he can tackle. There are things you like about TA, but in coverage, you just don't want him to be a liability. And I think the advantage that DJ Reed has is DJ Reed's a vet. He's been in the NFL for a while. He's still playing at a high level, but he struggled early too. Like DJ Reed struggled, but the thing about TA is, DJ Reed is he's a vet. and he corrected it yesterday. And he shut down Zay Flowers.
Big moments
highest
yesterday.
Rated corner yesterday, DJ Reed. I mean, he allowed 1 reception for 7 yards, 3 targets. He locked up Zay Flowers yesterday, 38 coverage snaps, and they barely threw it at DJ Reed. So at least DJ has the experience to be able to be like, hey, I know what I need to do better. I think TA's still kind of in this growing period. So I'm not gonna say bust yet. He's not Jeff Okudah. Jeff Okudah was always lost, I keep bringing him up, just taking shots at him, but
you can't put them in that conversation.
Yeah, Jeff Okudah, you knew that
yet.
Dude couldn't play. I mean, you knew he couldn't play when you watched him. TA, you see flashes. It's just about doing it consistently with him. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
and I do want to let's put in perspective a little bit here. Hold on a sec, because I am interested. Hold on. All right, so let's put in perspective here. Super Bowl Wilson. TA gave up 1 touchdown this season, same as Pat Surtain. Super Bowl Wilson. You have to start adding, and you're in our chat a lot, you need to start looking deeper and adding context into different moments, because I believe the TA touchdown that he gave up in Green Bay, what was it, a 10-3 game, a 1-possession game? I could be wrong with that, but I believe it was early in the game, a 10-3 game. It wasn't that he just gave up a touchdown. It was that he gave up, and let me pull it up. Honestly, I could just pull it right here. He gave up a 48-yard pass, I believe, to Romeo Doubs. And then after that, he gives up a 17-yard touchdown to Jaden Reed. So it wasn't he just gave up 1 touchdown. No, it was a 48-yard pass to Romeo Doubs, got cooked on. And then following play just gets cooked from Jaden Reed, and they get a touchdown. And then Super Bowl Wilson, let's not forget, yesterday, he didn't give up a touchdown. No, he didn't. Okay, he gets cooked by DeAndre Hopkins because he's 15 yards off and gets absolutely just cooked for a play, sets them up, and then guess what they do? They run right back at TA and go right at him, and he gets a penalty to put them at the 2-yard line. And then that's essentially giving up a touchdown. Giving Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson the ball at the 2-yard line, that's a touchdown given up in my eyes. So, no, he hasn't just given up 1 touchdown. In big moments, he's given up big plays that have cost his team. And luckily for last night, it didn't fully cost the team because they still had the second half. But the momentum switch in Green Bay when they get that Jaden Reed touchdown from a 10-3 game when you have an opportunity to get a stop defensively, giving up a 40-yard bomb, and then also turning back into a touchdown and it turning into a 17-3 game. You can't get that from your corner. You can't have that. You're putting your team in a bad position, and it's because of one player in those moments. And if you think, Booner, you're putting them in those, I'm not. Shep said that. Kelvin Shepard comes out the next day and says that's on TA. That's on no one else, because Justin Rogers asked him about it. He said it's on TA. TA is making the same mistakes as last year. And if you want me to go get the clip, I'll send you the clip. Shep said that. He's making the same mistakes as last year. He's got to learn from them. He's not learning from them. And then it happens again last night.
Yeah, and here's the thing, we're not asking, and I'll speak for you because I think me and you are on the same page. You're not asking for him to be, Darrelle Revis.
Or Pat Surtain, nothing.
Yeah, we don't need him to be shut down,
solid.
Don't allow a catch every game. It's going to happen. He's going to allow some plays. But the thing with the Lions and Kelvin and AG, they have in common. They don't want to allow big plays. And that's just the NFL. Like the Ravens last night, although there were plays that happened that were big plays, they didn't allow a JMO deep shot. They try to limit big plays. This Ravens secondary, they do a pretty good job of that. I mean, Jared only had 200 passing yards, even though he played excellent. But that's what the Ravens want to do. That's what the Lions want to do. They don't want big plays. And TA in that game, he was averaging 19 yards a catch given up. He gives up big plays. I mean, it's happened. It's been happening consistently. So I think that's where you look at TA. You're like, okay, dude, you're going to allow catches. It's fine. You're going to have bad games. We're not asking you to be perfect, but you can't allow these massive plays for 20 yards, 30 yards.
Penalty at the 1 yard or the 2 yard line.
That's where it gets a little tricky. It's I don't need you to be DJ Reed and shut guys down, but can you not allow these massive poor timely plays? That's where it gets a little, okay, you don't want to be a liability out there because you're right. It's not even nitpicking. It's a reality. That could cost you a game. That could cost you a game for sure. I know Ravens fans are not happy with Marlon Humphrey today. He gave up the big play to Amon-Ra St. Brown on 4th down, cooked him.
It's a reality. And Marlon Humphrey was one of the best corners in the game last year. You got to hold players accountable. And if they're not playing up to the stats, the NFL, you need, think about if it was a fourth quarter, a 1-possession game in a couple weeks versus the Chiefs. Who do you think Patrick Mahomes is gonna target?
They're going
If they're down 3 and they need a touchdown to win the football game, and you have Xavier Worthy matched up against TA, what do you think's gonna happen? They're going right at Terrion Arnold. The Chiefs are, and they know it. Like that's a smart football team that knows their game plan, that knows the scout, that knows, hey, this is a player that we can target, and like we're gonna have a very, very high chance it's either a pass interference or he's gonna get cooked. And that's something you can't. That's not a good thing to have on your defense, to where another team can look at it and go, all right, fourth quarter, we have 2 minutes left. We need a touchdown drive. Let's attack Terrion Arnold, because he's either going to give up a penalty or a big play.
Yeah, by the way, Austin, appreciate you tuning in, my man. He says TA's our weak link. I really hope he picks it up. But besides him, wow, what a fucking game, boys. Yeah, Austin, well said there. Again, it's like you're talking about. It's not even the lines. It's just TA just has to play. He just has to.
Yeah, like Michael Daly said, not saying TA should be excused, but you have to understand the difficulty. It's the NFL. It's either you can do it or you can't. Like, I get it. It's difficult.
Yeah, again, he's going to give up some plays. But lately, he's giving up a lot of plays consistently.
In big moments, in big plays.
Big moments. Like, I'm not okay. You give up a big play. Okay, whatever. But it's big play, big play, big play, big play.
Constantly.
Touchdown, against the it's like, okay, we got to at some point be like, maybe we expect just a little better play. And Coach Walk, teams know that too. It's going to happen a lot more. By the way, I did want to bring this up, man, because we noticed this in the game. Motown Art, Sports, and Travel. Appreciate you tuning in. He says Tesla's routes need work, but you can throw the high ball, the high jump ball.
Yeah.
You see how much Isaac Tesla played yesterday?
He did have more snaps. He had 14 snaps, I believe, if I remember correctly. I think he had 14 snaps yesterday, 2 targets.
He played a lot more earlier, and I know they didn't really they targeted him like you said twice. One of them wasn't even like I feel bad because it wasn't even like. Him and Jared just weren't on the same page. I think Jared was under pressure. He just threw it, and it wasn't even close to Isaac, so it wasn't even like a fair target. But they're playing Isaac a little more now, man. I like seeing Isaac Tesla out there. I think they're starting to trust in the rook. And they got 3 rookies out there. If Isaac Tesla is playing more snaps, you have to consider they're playing their first three round picks. I mean, they're playing all three rounds, which like for a contending team is kind of. It's really impressive, actually. And because they're having success. Like, they're playing Tate Ratledge, Tyleek Williams, and Isaac Tesla. All rookies. All playing. And they're winning. Like, that's coaching, too. So Isaac, I know he didn't get a ton of run, but I can see as the season goes on, they're liking what he brings to the table. His run blocking, he was on a lot of run plays. He's blocking a lot. Obviously, he's a better blocker than Khalif Raymond. But they had him out there. They had him isolated at the top one time on a corner. He's lined up against like Nate Wiggins. He's competing. I know they had the one throw. It was a good target. He just didn't make the catch. That was like the only real target out of the 2 he got. But I'm just saying, man, watch out for Tesla. He didn't have a one-handed catch, but technically he didn't have a catch at all. So it's still live.
I was 10 Isaac Tesla yards away from hitting a parlay last night. So that was disappointing. And they targeted him twice. You would think maybe one of the targets you would think.
Yeah, I mean, I would say Kryptonic says, is it fair to say that DJ Reed is covering the number ones? They're going to have to attack TA more lopsided, and that safeties are going to favor maybe other guys leaving TA on an island. Yeah, Kryptonic, you're spot on. DJ Reed is covering number ones. No doubt. It's not even a question. He covered Zay Flowers yesterday, did a really good job. And teams are going to target TA. And I don't know. You're going to have to send him a little bit of help too. I mean, you're going to have to send him because Brian Branch actually, I know he wasn't. He had the dropped interception, but he didn't play his best game either. To be honest, overall, he had the drop pick, which obviously was big, but Brian was kind of getting exposed a little bit too. So he's got to.
Brian Branch he played in like every snap. Defensive snap. I don't know.
Yeah, you got to get the field. And we know what Brian is. You know what I'm saying? Like he's obviously great. So I'm willing to give him some grace there. 4 to hits. You should listen to all the analysts out there now saying Detroit is back. And just a couple days ago, talk trash about Detroit. They're eating their words. Yeah, 4 to hits. That's what happens, my friend. It
is so funny.
You got to be able to, like, for me, I said it, and I'll keep saying it. When I'm wrong, I'll admit I'm wrong. I don't have a problem doing that. Listen, we talk
Yep.
2 hours a day. I give opinions. I give immediate reaction opinions. I share my opinion a lot often, and I'm not going to be right all the time. Like John Morton. Listen, I freaked out about John Morton. I was panicking after week 1. The last 2 weeks, I was wrong. What they displayed is much better product than I initially thought, or I was worried about. But here's the thing, all right? National media, they're not going to admit always when they're wrong. It's just how it is. Like they're like Peter Schrager. You think he's going to go on TV and admit he's wrong? Probably not. You know what I mean?
I just think it's so funny. Like, and this is where I think the credit, like, if I'm being honest with you, the disrespect this offseason, not just of the Lions, but of Dan Campbell. I think it's insane that, you know, I'd put him at like 5th in our head coaching rankings. I just don't understand how you have the roster you have and the head coach that you have, and people just disrespected them the way they did. And now people all of a sudden want to praise Dan Campbell after they didn't say anything. You know, they're all negative things to say all offseason. It's incredible to me. Like, he's done such a good job, and I just don't know a world where you can be like Dan Campbell isn't one of the best coaches in the NFL. Like, I think 95% of the teams, maybe besides right now the Chiefs, Eagles, maybe you're like,
well,
you wouldn't take Dan Campbell as your head coach.
Well, I was going to
to
bring
lead
up
your team.
I was going to ask you at some point today. I want to get to it. Like, are we back officially putting the Lions in tier 1 now as a team?
100%.
Like, are we putting them in the
100%.
Eagles tier now? I know before it was kind of on the outskirts. We're back, right? Like, chat, what do you guys, are we confident? Is this tier 1? Are we talking, you know, I don't know who would be up there. Eagles, you know, AFC Bills. They're in that equation now, officially. No doubts.
I think you can confidently say, like, right now, like, let's put this into perspective, how people feel about some of these teams. The Buffalo Bills are the favorite to win the Super Bowl, Jeff, at plus 480. Who do you think is number 2?
Eagles?
No.
The Packers.
Nope.
Lions?
Nope.
Chiefs?
Nope.
Ravens.
The Baltimore Ravens, who the Detroit Lions just went on the road and dominated. They are plus 550 to win the Super Bowl. Plus 550. The Lions, they are 5th.
What?
They are 5th right now at plus 1,200. So if you want to put in perspective a little bit about where this Lions team lands, you're talking about a team that right now is 2nd in odds to win the Super Bowl. The Lions just manhandled them on the road last night in Monday Night Football, primetime football. So you have to put the Lions in tier 1. They're Super Bowl contenders right now. It's Bills, in my opinion. It's Bills, Eagles, Lions. And if you want to throw Packers and Ravens as that 4-5 spot, I think you can do it. But I think it's those 5 teams, and then right outside the Kansas City Chiefs.
I don't see how. I don't see how you can say the Packers after losing to the Browns. I know they've won the head-to-head matchup, but that's a bad loss. That's a bad loss. In the way in which they lost 13-10 to the Browns. I mean, if the Lions beat the Browns this week, you essentially just seal it. It's like, yeah, you have the head-to-head matchup, but this NFC North race is alive. Like, you're 2-1, Packers are 2-1. They have the head-to-head advantage. You play them again at Ford Field later in the season. Like, this division after week 1, many people would say it was a shoo-in. The Packers are winning it. Like, chill the hell out.
Lions are plus 190. So I think they were like almost in the 400s at one point over the last couple of weeks. They're all the way up to plus 190 now. It's not a walk in the park anymore for this Packers team. And I haven't even looked at the Packers schedule. Like, the Lions, again, remember they have an opportunity to play the Browns and then the Bengals. And obviously the Browns, after we saw the Packers, it's not going to be a walk in the park, obviously.
No, Packers are good. They're a good team, but that game did not tell the full story. I mean, that was like,
the Packers do have such an easy schedule. They have the Cowboys next, the Bengals, the Cardinals, the Steelers, and the Panthers. And then they play the Giants, the Bears twice. I mean, the Packers do have an easy schedule, so I do see that, like, compared to what the Detroit Lions have.
That's a cakewalk schedule. Like, yeah, people forget they were what? They were third. They have a third place schedule.
Yeah.
So,
and the Lions have a first place, so they're
I mean, I guess they had a first place last year and they won, but they didn't play the divisions they played this year though. They play tougher divisions.
The Chiefs, the Eagles,
they have a tough stretch, which, like, a lot. And honestly, it's just the unfortunate part of that is it's also on the road. like they're also on the road.
Yeah.
But again, they're good on the road. So it's like you can say that too, man. And honestly, the way they play on the road, winning the division is important. You want games to be at Ford Field, but this is a team that can travel, man. Like if you play the Packers in the playoffs in Lambeau, fans would still be confident. Like that's the difference here. Like
I wonder what the record is for playoff teams, road playoff teams over the last 10 years. Because I feel like teams sometimes get up more if they're the road team because you're going into a hostile environment, you get fired up. It's sometimes easier at home to maybe not get as fired up. I mean, you're still home crowd, all that. But this Lions team, they put so much. Dan is so good at getting these guys up, and especially for these road primetime games, these guys are so fired up, and it feels like they love the environment. And then obviously you have Lions fans that travel, which probably puts up some more juice. Obviously, you're not going to get a Ford Field atmosphere, but playing on the road fires you up sometimes.
Yeah, and I hate to actually look away because I just looked up who has the most road playoff wins. The Packers are tied, but that was with Aaron. That was with Aaron Rodgers, though. Okay, yeah. I think Aaron Rodgers. I don't think Jordan Love obviously is not producing all of that, and Brett Favre and all. But still, road playoff wins. The Packers are tied.
I mean, Jordan Love went on the road to Dallas in the playoffs and beat them.
Yeah, so I should actually. That's kind of ironic.
Almost beat the 49ers on the road.
Yeah, that's funny. I just looked it up, and it's the Packers are okay. Well, it doesn't fit my narrative, so we're going to close this tab.
He said you're going to want to look away for this one.
Yeah, I'm not going to look at that. But yeah, it's not even the same. Obviously, it's talking about the older Packers. Tafka, I think the argument can be made that the Lions have played better on the road than at home since the start of last season. Yeah, it's almost like not you'd rather have home field advantage. Let's be real. That's not my argument that, but there is something in your psyche about playing at home versus on the road. It's when you're on the road, the pressure is on the home team. It is, especially when you have a seed like last year. The pressure is all on the Lions in that game. The Commanders were just hey.
I do think there's a world where it's we want to especially the Lions, they have such a different mentality, and Dan Campbell has such a different mentality than some other people around the league, to where Dan's we would rather play road games. We want to ruin your day. Remember with the Packers a couple years ago when they go on the road to Lambeau and they're we want to spoil you going to the playoffs, and they did just that. But they get up. It feels like they might get up for those games more than they get up for home games, which is crazy to even think about.
Yeah, I think they like that spoiler role. They
yes,
crapping.
It's they like their backs up against the wall. Here we go. Let's fight out, man.
Yeah, at home you get a little comfortable. You know why? You sleep in your own bed. You're at home. You wake up, you're chilling. On the road, you're in some hotel room. You're I just can't wait to get home. I just want to win this fucking game.
I think we discovered something here today. I think
like
road games are better.
It's like a little psyche in their head,
You have to get up. You have to.
You wake up, you're with your family, you're kicking it, you're in your place, and you go to the stadium. Obviously, again, Ford Field's great. One of the best home.
You're a little more soft at home. Let's just call it what it is.
Softer at home. You know what I'm saying?
Even though the crowd gets you going, you're a little bit softer at home.
Yeah. You're chilling a little too much.
Giving hugs and kisses to your family or pregame.
The Hot Box. Shout out to what a name, by the way. The Hot Box. Shout out to you watching the show. He says TA.
I love how he did.
But wait.
He did the hot box and then parentheses did the hot box again.
TA started out bad, but I think he finished okay. Lamar was running around a lot. 7 sacks. The coverage had to be okay on the back end. Yeah, I mean that's fair too. I mean they picked it up in the second half more so. It seemed almost too good. The second half, there were times where Lamar was scrambling, and I'm just waiting for a big play. Maybe it's a pessimistic person in me a little bit, but
how many times did he have just to throw, not even just throw it away, just miscommunications with receivers running a different route, and Lamar throws it up, and the guy's running a route, an in route or something, and he's they're looking at each other confused.
Yeah, and then they do that. I mean, they play. Tapka says, especially last year, I think the players were so determined to play well for the home crowd that they pressed a bit, came out shaky in a lot of those home games. Yeah, I mean, I think, and someone else said, I think it was Austin actually. What did he say? He said, "Yeah, I'm not concerned about being a wild card team at all."
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah, at this point, we talked about this after week 1. We weren't saying the season's over, but our point was screw the division for a second. Let's just focus on making the playoffs and getting through this tough schedule. Because Dan said it before the season, way before when the schedule came out. He said this schedule is going to test us. It's going to make us playoff ready. Because not only do they have the toughest schedule, you're playing all these tough teams, these great quarterbacks, but you're also on the road for all these games. So by the end of the year, you're going to be playoff tested. That's what you want when it's all said and done, to be honest. Like,
Yep.
you want to be tested on the road, and they're going to be able to do that at the end of the year. You can say that. Because last year they had all these games. I mean, the injuries obviously hurt them, but they had these games against like the Titans, the Colts, the Jags, that when you got to the playoffs, you're like, we're just smoking bad teams. Like, what are you actually learning by putting up 40 on teams like that? You know what I'm saying? You're just like, everyone's having a good time, good vibes. Like this game against the Ravens, learned a crap ton. Like a couple
That's why
weeks,
I think
it's better. It's way better.
Dan Campbell's comments of being like, we just want to find different ways to win this year. Like, we don't want to just win the same way. Like last year, we just putting up 40, 50 points, dominating teams. We're still giving up 25. This year, he's like, let's find different ways to win. Let's figure this thing out. So when we do get to the playoffs, we're ready to roll, man. Throw anything at us. We're going to win the game.
Rando, he said, so funny listening to talking heads all pick the Lions to lose. Today picked them. I will say, national media probably, I picked the Ravens to win.
I told you guys. I could say I picked the Lions yesterday.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, it's the toughest matchup. I mean, and it wasn't even about like the Lions aren't a good team. It was just the Ravens are that difficult to match up with. I thought it'd be a close game. I thought the Ravens would edge them out. I did. And they proved me wrong, which
I was pretty close with my score prediction, 35-27.
Yeah, I think I had like 31-27 Lions.
I was 3 points off each way.
Yeah, we knew it would be a high-scoring game. There was no doubt. I mean, they had 68 combined points in that game.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, the Lions.
The over.
I mean, they had the Monday night countdown, the Monday Night Football countdown. They had the score predictions edged all Ravens. It was all close.
ESPN, every single outlet. I posted something on our Twitter yesterday. Freezing Cold Takes posted it. Here, I can pull it up real quick. Give me a sec. Everyone, Jeff. It wasn't even like there was a. Hold on, let me find this. By the way, Dan Campbell, they're out at Starbucks again.
Of course, what a guy, man. He deserves it.
He deserves it.
He deserves it. Get him whatever he wants.
Man,
they should just start giving him free starbs, man.
They probably do.
Get this man some anything he wants, free. Fuck it, it's on the house.
Here, let me just zoom in.
Oh,
here.
yeah, look at that.
So here's the NFL Live pregame. Dan Orlovsky, Ryan Clark, Mina, Peter, Marcus, they all picked the Ravens. And then you go down here. Oh, Scott Van Pelt, everyone, Jason Kelsey, Marcus again. Stephen A. even picked the Ravens 41-38. Oh, you go down here to Get Up. Harry Douglas, Peter Schrager, Bart Scott, Mike Tannenbaum, everyone. Look at this. This is ESPN yesterday, all day, all Ravens.
Oh my gosh.
That's
I can't act like they're idiots. I did the same thing. So hey, I'm in that group too.
Yeah, you are.
I'm in that group too. I mean, I had a similar score than most of these guys anyway. So it's like, hey, that's fine. If they win, if I pick against them, that's fine. Just keep picking against the Lions, man. They'll find a way to win games. Before, by the way, get your questions ready. So get your questions ready for mailbag. I got to tell you about our friends over at Sleeper. So allow me to do that because Sleeper Fantasy is what you should be using. And I know during football season, it's the app to use. It's become the fastest organically growing fantasy platform in the world with over 6 million active users in 2023, while earning some of the highest levels of engagement per user in the industry. It's the best way to experience and connect sports together. They have Sleeper Picks also, which is a real money product that connects friends over picks. Super simple. Just choose 2 to 8 of your favorite players from pregame, live, or across different sports. You just pick more or less than the predicted stats. I picked more on Dave Montgomery's touchdowns. He did that. On Sleeper, you can get up to 1,000x payouts. Share with your friends. Get rewarded together. Use the code CT Sports. Get a $100 deposit. Match up to $100. All right. Mailbag time. Get your questions ready, and we will answer them. Questions, concerns, thoughts, whatever it is. Michael, start us off. Mailbag, what's your way too early position want for a first-round draft pick next year? DB, defensive end, question mark. You know what? Left tackle.
Yeah, that was going to be mine as well. I think tackle's a big
Left
one.
tackle. I think they could draft an edge in the second round. I mean, if there's and it depends who's there. I don't know. It's early. If there's a pass rusher, that'd be great. But I would say offensive tackle and then defensive end, center, stuff like that. I see Peaceful Tim said he want a first-round center, but yeah, we would probably agree there.
Yeah, I think at some point next year, you do have to, in this next draft, you do have to draft a center in the first couple rounds. I think so.
I agree. You got
maybe the first 3 rounds, and they've been good.
Unless you believe Tate can do it. I mean, unless
Oh yeah, I guess that's fair. I guess another guard at least. At least you get a guard in the first 3 rounds. I think next year the biggest thing, and this is where I kind of fall into a weird spot, Jeff, is because like I want to say edge, but like we did that whole shtick all off season this last year before the draft and all last season about getting an edge with Hutch, and they didn't get an edge until the 6th round, right? 7th round with Ahmed Hassanate. So it's like we could be like, hey, we want an edge in the first round, and it's just like that's just not like Brad doesn't prioritize that. So yeah, like I would love to get if there was a high end edge rusher that you feel like can make a difference. But I think in the 2nd, 3rd round, I think that's when 2nd, 3rd, 4th round, that's when you go edge. And then at some point in the 2nd or 3rd round, I think you go get yourself a guard. But I wouldn't be mad at all if your first 2 picks this next year is a tackle in the 1st round, and then a guard in the 2nd round. Like I wouldn't be mad. You have such a good football team right now. Like you don't need to really replace any other position. You just need to make sure you keep this offensive line up to date. And then after that, you can figure everything else out.
Let's see. Anakin, he says, mailbag, are you guys doing another show tonight or no? No, we're no show tonight. We're back tomorrow, regular scheduled programming, 8 p.m. But today we're doing a morning show just to get the people some content early in the day. But no show tonight. Rando Smalls, mailbag, Kelvin Shepard blitzed a lot. Do you see him using more in the future? Absolutely. Kelvin, we talked about it a little earlier, Rando. Kelvin has his own identity with this defense, man. Implementing quarterback spy, implementing zone coverage, zone blitzes. He likes blitzing, sending those linebackers. That's what you're going to see. Calvin's already kind of showing what his ideology is for defensive schemes, and I think that's only going to continue. So
I think Shep's going to be very, what's the word I'm looking for here as well? Adaptable as well, more so than we've seen in the past. Like depending on matchups, I think he's going to be able to scheme and adapt, and week to week, you're going to see a lot of different things depending on the team you're playing.
Michael says, how about we all say O-line, then Brad will go DN.
I actually want a tackle. I would like a tackle this year. Even if the tackle doesn't play right away. I mean, I guess it depends on how good the tackle is, but if you can get a guy that can fill in right away, and we can have this Taylor Decker conversation down the line, but you could save a lot of money if you move on from Taylor Decker after this year. Again, you have a lot of money to spend too. So like, that's just, and I brought that up back in, when was that, Jeff? I talked about that back in like May. And Klotz brought it up with Josh Simmons as well. Klotz was a different. I brought it up cutting him. It was actually me and you brought up cutting him after this year because you could opt out of his deal. Klotz was like, do it now and go get Josh Simmons, which Josh Simmons is incredible. So hindsight looks good, but Decker has been good this year.
Jay Hart mailbag, how y'all like our chances against Philly and other contenders now after last night?
Confidence, I think, skyrocketed after yesterday.
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
I think you can look at it and be very confident that you're going to compete versus those teams now.
Yes.
You're a part of that group of teams.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with that. They should, I mean, it doesn't matter who they, and the Ravens are the toughest matchup on the schedule. Maybe not the toughest team. I think the Eagles as a team are better. They have a more complete team. But quarterback, running back duo, it's like Jalen Hurts and Saquon. I'd put them second to Lamar and Derrick Henry. And
I might be the odd guy out, Jeff. I think this Eagles team is very beatable. I thought they were last year. I know they won the Super Bowl. The Rams, if it wasn't snowing in Philly, the Rams beat them to go to the Super Bowl. Like, I not the Super Bowl, but to the NFC Championship game. I think this Philly team. I know they keep winning, and it's like they've won 18 straight or whatever it is with Jalen Hurts. I'm shocked that they haven't lost like in that span. Like, I think it's a beatable football team. They just figure out ways to get it done. But I would be confident if the Lions played them that they would win. I am. I would be.
Let's see.
Might be odd guy out there though.
RJ. Long-term concerns with Terrion? ? Me and Boone talked about it earlier. I think we're on the same page. We're not concerned yet with. It's concerning, but it's not like we're not using the B word, man. You know, you got to give him a little bit of time. If we're in year 3 and he still looks like this, we could start using it. But I think year 2, game 3, I think people kind of write guys off a little too early sometimes. And I think at corner, you got to give him a little more grace. So he's got to play better. No denying that. But I'm not long-term concerned. I'm not. So to answer that question. Wilson, who will be our DC next year after we win the Super Bowl and Shep gets a head coaching job? Oh, next DC. That's a good question. You know, it'd be crazy. Not crazy, but you know who's a a guy to watch out for who's going to interview for it. Because I don't think Kelvin gets a job this year, but in 2 years, maybe 2 or 3 years.
Who's that?
Sean Deion Hamilton.
He is. I will say he is. I think he's younger.
He's young, but he's Kelvin. He's kind of like the Kelvin to AG like now. So give him like 2-3 years. I can see them interviewing him.
I think he needs more than 2 or 3 years, though. I'm with you on him, but like you got to think, Shep had 5 years where he was just learning under these guys.
Because he was
Sean Deion Hamilton just got the linebacker job this year. He was an assistant linebackers coach for under Shep last year. Shep's been linebackers coach for a while before he had this opportunity.
Let me see. I'll compare. He was, I mean, to be honest, like Sean Deion Hamilton, Kelvin started in 2021. Sean Deion started in 2022 with the staff.
Yeah, but what is it?
He was
I'm talking about
assistant, and then he went to linebackers coach the next year. So he's only 2 years.
Yeah, assistant linebackers coach though.
But I mean,
I know what you're saying, but I think like you have to work your way up.
As you'd think, like years wise, like they started only 2 years different, like a year or two difference. I'm just saying, watch it. Not saying it's guaranteed, but just get.
This guy's trying to get in early. I know what you're doing here.
No, I'm just saying they're grooming.
I respect it.
He's grooming. They're grooming him for sure.
I respect it.
Yeah, he is 30 years old, so he is young. But we've seen guys getting, and now in the NFL, they're hiring guys at like 30. I mean, these guys are getting jobs like in their 30s, low 30s now. So I don't know. Jim Schwartz. Bring Jim
Schwartz is a funny pull.
Yeah, Jim Schwartz would be. I mean, that's a whole other thing. Peaceful Tim. The most impressive thing about the win, making Zay Flowers disappear. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Gentry cooked up a parlay. We had Zay Flowers 60 yards. I've never been happier to lose a parlay in my life. I looked at the parlay. He had like 10 yards, and I'm like, okay, I'll take that. I will lose a parlay if Zay Flowers does not show up. Like that's fine. I have no problem with that. But at first, you just assume that guys like him are just going to have huge days. I mean, he didn't. So
Zay Flowers is an on and off guy, though.
Yeah, he is. Motown Art, Sports, and Travel. Thank Booner and Crunch Time for awesome content and insightful posts on X. Hey, shout out to Boone. Man. All right, yeah, appreciate you following us. If you're not following us, it's all above here. So give us a
appreciate that a ton.
Give us a follow there. Let's see. I did see another comment here. Wilson says, I was thinking Townsend. Deshae Townsend, the DB's coach.
Yeah, he's been around a little while now.
Yeah, he has.
What if John Morton got a head coaching job?
I mean, they might look at him. They might if you're on a great offense, you're going to get looked at.
For sure.
Get looked at. You know
Imagine that, Johnny Mo being like, I already know my OC replacement if he gets a job.
You know what? If I'm being honest, though, he doesn't come off like he would.
I don't think
he's just
a lot of.
He's reserved. Yeah, he doesn't.
That are older too, and they're like, I think he's content with what he does. To be honest, like I don't know if he would. I'm with you on that because you got to think. You guys were questioning like, why wasn't he an OC before? I legit just think he's a football dude that was like, I just don't like I just want to be in the building. Like I'm not sitting here trying to be the best offense coordinator in the game. Now, a good opportunity approaches itself like this Lions, you do it. But I don't think for years. I think he was just like, I just want to be with Sean Payton. I want to be comfortable just doing, hey, I just want football, man. That's how I feel about him. And like as a head coach, I could see him like with this Lions team for the next couple of years and just being like content. Like
I agree.
Not even interviewing for a head coaching job, just being like, yeah, I don't want that. Like I'm cool. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's great. The pay, money talks. Like if you want to, it's cool if he wants to go make money. But I'm just from what I've learned about him, it just seems like he loves ball, loves offense.
For sure.
I don't think he wants to deal with all the bullshit. I just don't think he would. I mean, he gets to be the play caller for his hometown team.
Yeah.
You know, he's pretty. I'm basically speaking for him at this point, but he seems like he's pretty content. You know what I'm saying? Maybe
he'll
get a raise. If they look like this, he'll get a raise as an OC. They'll get more money.
Imagine I mean, you would have to take a big like oof if like it breaks like every Ben Johnson record that they had last year offensively, and they're like number one off. Imagine that they just keep going here. Yeah, every game they put up 40.
Well, he's gonna get lifted. If that's the case, teams are gonna be knocking on the door for him. Like,
yeah, And you know, by the way, too, like next week, I think it's a better defense you're going up against than you did with the Ravens. Like this Browns defense is legit. So this week's this is going to be a big week for this Lions
And the
team.
O-line, you got Myles Garrett.
Yeah, especially the offensive line is going to have a big task ahead.
You better.
I'm
hope
interested.
Myles Garrett jumps on that injury report. You better hope he jumps on that.
Probably not. That man's never
because
on it.
that dude's a problem.
He's built different, dude. I don't think he's.
Yeah.
That whole D line, dude. That whole defense. That linebacker that the Browns drafted out of UCLA, he's so good too. I don't even know how to.
Yeah.
He's elite,
dude.
dude. Oh, yeah. Did you see him run down Jordan Love last week?
No, I didn't.
Oh, dude, he came from like 50 yards out. It looked like it was insane. Like they have a legit defense. They do.
Hey, appreciate you all as always.
TA's podcast comes out tomorrow.
Closed on Sundays, open on Mondays. Okay. All right. Hey, appreciate you all as always. The support on the watch party, the post game show has been amazing. Obviously, the pregame. People have been asking about the pregame. We've just figured, just like view wise, we're kind of combining our watch party with pregame. If you guys want the pregame, let us know.
We'll still be early. We were 30 minutes before the show yesterday.
We're kind of we're just figuring out what works best, strategy wise. But you guys have been awesome supporting us. Yesterday was amazing. We'll be back tomorrow, 8 p.m. regular scheduled programming. Let's keep it up. Appreciate you all.
All right, love you guys.
Peace.
Lions, baby.